Kalahari is the team breaker, and this is where a lot of teams are taking advantage, especially for those who didn't perform in Purgatory. But going back to Fluxo, I mean, they really need the Booyah at this point because they only had 5 points coming in from Bermuda. So this is something to keep themselves afloat, and some of the teams are just trying to do so until they find the rotation and the pace of the other teams. Pretty much what we've seen from Buriram United from the point rush.
Now, I'm wondering if it's going to be the Fluxo doing the Cinderella story. Now, we got to keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, as you check out the MVP for this round. MT7 came in with 1 elimination and 1,459 damage with 441 healing. Now, the numbers might not seem big, but at the end of the day, if they're able to secure the Booyah, that will bring them, well, the points that they need. And of course, they got the most points out of them all.
Yeah, and moving forward as well, because we've just finished 2 games, we still have 4 more games to go. Plenty of opportunities for comebacks to happen, but this also now puts pressure on our top performers today to keep this going, because remember, Cloud, your famous saying, it's not about how you start the race, it's how you finish it. And you can have a fantastic start, but if you don't have the points at the end of the day, you're not taking that trophy home. So Kalahari, this is going to be the next hurdle for our teams. And Neptune, I'm really glad that you brought up the point that generally top performers at Kalahari tend to be the better teams overall. What are we kind of expecting going into Kalahari? Are we just going to continue to see this very slow-paced free fire? Because that feels like what's kind of happening here after seeing 2 pretty slow games.
One thing I'm for sure is some of the teams, especially for what we have right now in overall rankings, like Buriram United, AG Global, they're slowly going to pick up some pace. The same goes with Team Falcons. The good thing after that Purgatory map, they're still #1 and still have a huge lead against Evo's Esports. So we'll see if they can keep that momentum. But in our record right now, in my record right now in Kalahari, they're ranking 3rd from the knockout stage.
Yeah, if there was a team that I would be surprised is that RRQ. And based on track record as well, they normally do well in the first 2 maps. When we go into Kalahari onwards, we don't really see them popping up based on the stats in this tournament. So they did bring a little bit of hope when we started off, but now they're starting to lose steam. So I don't know if they'll be able to make that big comeback.
I'm not sure if I agree with that. Neptune, I'm not sure. I feel like you're going to agree with me on this. So RRQ yesterday, we did have an interview with them, and they specifically said yesterday that they were practicing strats. They were trying new things, and unfortunately yesterday, it didn't quite work out. But based off of my knowledge, and I think yours as well, RRQ love Kalahari.
Yeah, pretty much they love Kalahari. They love to position themselves in refinery. That's mostly
That's
their
the
drop
strat.
point. That's a strat that they have. But again, who might be able to counter them? But the reason why I'm smiling earlier, because if you remember their intro, it's very much there's a huge energy, and then towards the end it falters. It's very much the same as how they play the game. So huge energy from the start, and then slowly dies down towards the end. So hopefully they can recover that a little bit of boost coming from fans, from supporters. Might be able to do that, as well as how well or any feedback that they get from the test that they have yesterday.
Yeah. Just a reminder to all of our viewers as well, we do have some live stream rewards. So if you didn't know, all you need to do is to tune into the broadcast and you'll be in the running to pick up some fantastic goodies. This is not a giveaway for 1, 2, 3 people. This is goodies for every single one of our amazing viewers. So as you can see, if you watch 3, 15, 30 or 60 minutes of the broadcast, you will be getting an even bigger reward. And yes, if you watch 60 minutes, you get to take home the entire thing. So be a winner. Stay with us here for the Free Fire Esports World Cup, because not only are we going to be crowning a champion, but you guys are going to be rewarded very, very handsomely as well. Gentlemen, it looks like we're ready to jump into game number 3. Very quickly, predictions before we throw to casters.
I'm still looking forward to Falcons' performance.
Still, the blue team, Buriram United.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We're going to throw it over to our casters. Right now is Tash Bunny and Obvi. Take it away for game number 3.
hitting the halfway mark of today. Maps are slowly dwindling in number. And the question is, what can these teams at the bottom do to bring it back? We've seen it yesterday from Brem United, halfway mark, just go completely bonkers as the end of the day. Let's see if our teams over on the bottom side, the single-digit teams, such as PE Esports and Team Solid, can just sort of mindset shift, and bring it to the end.
Yes, I do agree as well. With that one-digit points, they need to wake up. They need to be prepared for the third game, because right now, if let's say they are not going into the third game with a better mindsets, then the chances are another 3 games will be harder for them to chase about the points. Because right now for Team Falcons, they have 49 points.
Yep.
And for Evos,
Yeah, that shocked us.
they climbed to the second place.
I mean, again, reminding everyone here that anything can happen. This is the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme of the best teams here in the world. Kalahari, a bigger map, perhaps what these teams need to really bring themselves back into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, eyes on the screen, halfway mark of the day. Let's see where they drop.
And the flight path coming from Conceal Hall towards Mammoth. We have a next shoe miners towards Confinement, followed by PE Sports and EVOS going to Conceal Hall and Shrine as well. Falcon move towards Bayfront, but we have On Fire trying to be the scouter to see either next shoe miners will be going towards their compound. But for the others, what we are seeing, Team Solid with Buriram. Will they fight again? But right now in Stone Ridge.
Interesting. I was expecting more hot drops, not quite happening yet, and understandably so. Everyone understanding that stakes are higher and higher as these maps go down. There's too much of a gap set here, especially by our top 5 teams. If anything, they need to slow it down. They need to find a way to not only stay alive, and understanding that by trusting the process and being able to call these mid-round fights might be the recipe to success. It's happened before for Loud. It's happened before for Brum United. I wouldn't be surprised if it will happen for everyone else who manages to stay alive for long enough as the circle shrinks.
I do agree, and right now they need to be staying alive as well. And from what I'm seeing just now, for Buriram, they are splitting into 2 groups, 2 players and 2 players, whereby Fluxo immediately dropped 4 players in Stone Ridge. But we are moving towards RRQ. Mal with that parafoul, taken Yago through the hits. Amazing first blood goes towards RRQ.
Ooh, the crowd is completely electric. Everyone yelling, whether or not home crowd advantage. Everyone is loud from all around the world. All these spectators has flown in, yelling, making sure that every single team feels and hears their support. RQ is the one in the lead right now with 1 in the bag. But for Loud, despite not having Yago back, they can still go aggressive and go forward. Drax is here. A jump shot is going to be up by high. That brings it up. Drax taken out already. And the members of Loud need to find a way to not only survive, but be able to bring their team back into the game.
And for Loud, they are splitting right now. They need to reset and regroup to make sure that they will be not being pressured by the others. Whereby we have one of the players, Yago, been revived, but has been looked by AG Global. But we are now moved towards Mammoth, where Gaimin Gladiator's tattoo has been taken out. Shot by Nix with that parafoul as well. But can he make it? Kochil using, who is trying to go up, but was pulled on by Trap as well.
Look at how aggressive all these teams are. The kill feed is going crazy. Now, Team Solid still here. Going on, taking up the fight here. Nyx dropped already, 18 deer. The Wonder Child so very low. Not done quite yet. He finally finds him in the end. And now, Gaimin Gladiators in the lead, 4 in the bag. Not able to really secure that point, but it's enough for them to win this area through and through. And in this situation, might be what they need to just really push them forward.
And right now for Falcon, one more. Unfortunately for him, he was taken out by Evos, but Aim God has been revived. We have one of the players, Abax, as detected on fire. And right now with that Woodpecker, half of his HP has been taken out, but with that Drove gone as well, but assisted by his friend, which is Abax, come to rescue. 2 players coming from Falcon has been kidnapped by Evos.
What a word to use, huh? Now, it's a very interesting one just now. Look at how many skirmishes are happening on the map. It's not full-on fights. It's maybe like a bit of a skirmish here and there, but both teams maybe will just quickly just move out of the way. Looking at this fight now, you can see the grenade launcher just completely just being thrown both sides here from AEG Global as well as Cow17. Now he waits, trying to go for the reset. Stop, knockdown already. Cypher on the other end finds Don't Cry. Now, a quick reposition from Caramel, and this is a good thing. The higher ground, the better, taking up space. And also, this allowing Cow1 to really pinpoint where he is, but it might be his death, as his teammate is there for that trade. Lost 21, quick to answer that. A crunch to come through, and this is where Loud truly thrives.
And PE Sport joining the fight as well. Just neighbors, but they are not within the same compound. They'll try to fight each other within that long-range weapon, with that Woodpecker, with that SKS as well. But we are moving towards Buriram and also Fluxo in Stone Ridge. They are going to fight once more. After the early fights, they just avoided between each other.
It's all about that way. Buriram United very quiet this early game. They know they are toe-to-toe with one of the most one of the scariest teams right now. Fluxo buying time. They want to be able to take up space. Wasana is the key here when it comes to getting aggressive, getting close, and he wants to do quite that. Takes a bit of chip damage, not quite enough yet, as he slowly weaves his way through the never-ending amount of glue walls here. Moshi finds Bobs. Big, huge game as he just completely eliminates him. But for now, Bobs, before he could even say goodbye, sayonara, he's brought back into the game as well. Two members of Fluxo knocked MT7 as well. Bobs all alone. Can he survive for a while longer? I think he wants to. He's going to quickly move out of the way, reset, and slowly but surely bring his teammates in. And Buriram United, we saw Wasana yelling into the camera.
Oh, Buriram almost taken out Fluxo from this game. But they were lucky, they can still revive. But for Buriram, they will need to be careful as well. If, let's say, they are going towards their rotation to command post, then the chances are Team Solid will be coming from them. But for Bobs, immediately taken that Santa Catarina, and he need to survive his own teammate as fast as possible, because right now on the 6 minutes, all the 12 teams will be preparing to move to the next zone.
Honestly, for Gaimin Gladiators, I am so surprised that they were ready for any kind of initiation. I think one of their biggest, I think what I was really worried about them being caught off guard. Coach Hill especially has been really prone to that first contact pickoffs, but they were so good to just really collapse into one another. Now, Falcons find themselves again against Fluxo here. Bobs brings back his teammates. Now they're in trouble. Bunsin can't do more than that. They were really hoping to just quickly and quietly stay here, go for the reset, but it's going to be Falcons that finds them in the end. And Falcons, they look good. They haven't been able to replicate the success from map 1, but they're saying it's fine. They have another map forward. They have all of that space, all of that lead to really make as many boo-boos as they can. And the thing is, they haven't been really making fatal mistakes. Let's be real here.
And for the Evos as well, they are number 2, but they are getting the 5 eliminations for the 7th minute. Abas got one more, but PE Sports right now is trying to survive. 3 of the players has been taken out, but Huang An, can he survive? He's trying to run away. Evos with that 8 elimination points on the 7th minute. They knew Huang tried to run away, but Ray using... Oh, he's trying to chase.
Oh, he wants to.
Can he detect him? Can he know? Can he get him?
This is the saddest part for Huang An. They need to be able to survive, to reset, to bring their teammates back. Currently, their team are on single digits. This might have been the map to just really change the trajectory of the day for them. And it's terrifying because they're being chased from so many different angles. EFOS looks good. They're very aggressive. Again, why I mentioned that this team is the type of team that really shows and flashes their stripes only at opportune moments. Because you don't really expect this team to really just pop off, and suddenly next moment you see them on second place and you didn't see these flashy plays come from them at all.
And they know they need to be the same as Falcon. Do not put a spotlight on them. But right now, we already been noticed. EVOS Esports as in second place on the overall ranking for the 2 games, and now they are moving to. And with the 8 minutes, they have the elimination leaders. But right now, what we are seeing, Buriram, they have by the bounty. But can Fluxo defense, and also, will they be coming for the third party from the others as well?
Really interested to see how this cutoff of noise and suddenly this lull is happening. Over on the other end, you can see Stop just getting knocked and is quickly brought into the game itself. Now over on this side, RRQ over the bottom side, it sort of feels like deja vu because we've seen it happen before. RRQ holding a shack toward the bottom side of the area, and it's a tale of as old as time where they're okay with just waiting in the compound, waiting for the right moment to just completely collapse, onto the other members who was going toward them. Now, as this situation goes, I think we saw many fights that AG Global has been taking, but they haven't been able to completely roll over a team. In fact, they are the ones to be losing these fights, and I'm honestly wondering what is going on.
Oh, I also wonder what's going on with them as well.
And what's going on in this area? Look at how many teams are here.
Majority of them are, it's like, let's group up in refinery.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good spot. There's a lot of terrains to play with. The higher the area you hold, the more information you can get. Catching anyone in those mid rotations, especially for those snipers, they are scary.
But the chances are, if let's say the snipers on the higher ground, it'll be harder for them to revive their own teammate.
Yeah, revive their own teammate. If they get knocked down, it's going to be harder for them to reposition if the circle pulls away. Not the best situation to be in. And suddenly the circle going to be hard shifting to our foundation in this time. So it's going to be loud that it's just shooting up toward the other members of Gaimin.
But right now, what I'm seeing here, the zone are moving towards foundation. And we still have 12 teams, Stash. 12 teams on the 10th minute. So if, let's say, there are any of the teams here coming from Loud, coming from Team Solid, Gaimin, RRQ, or even Buriram, they'll be only having 0 placement point. But with that shot coming from Nick, with that headshot as well, but can he take the points? And they are rushing in with that Tatsuya as well. Immediately take him 2 out. And Gaimin Gladiators are the ones taking the 4 knockdown.
Oh, Team Solid is here now. Nick's a tattoo knocked out already. Gaimin Gladiators and Loud were ready for this engagement itself. And suddenly in this situation, you can't do more than that. You're a sandwich and you are completely pressured by 2 different teams. They go for that revive, they manage to, and look at how many glue walls is just put there, just really buy them some time. And they are fighting against time here. The zone is coming through, and Saming is the one to join in on this as well. Twisted Minds, Team Solid in a position where no one wants to be in. Saming taking advantage of this with a triple in the bag, and Team Solid cannot do more than that. Too many teams onto them.
And right now with 11 squads, we are in 11th minute. We are seeing here for Loud, they are having a better place as well, coming from a Twisted Mind that are struggling to go inside. We have Gaimin Gladiators as well, trying to see through. But right now for Falcons, they love playing outside the zone in the early phase. We are seeing right now on the 3rd zone, they always will be near by the zone, but they will not go through yet because I think the chances are they want to know who will they be fighting as well, and also are they open space or being get killed.
Oh, look at how aggressive this area is. Caramel is here, and so are the other members of Gaimin Gladiators. Now, we've seen this happen before. Saming finds Yago, takes him down very quickly, and I love this reposition from GG. They see one player knocked down, and they're quickly trying to take up the space. They find themselves 2-2. It's going to be Twisted Minds that's here. Raz finds one, Liam as well, and now the members of Twisted Minds cannot find their way into the circle. Not only are they taking damage from the blue zone, they're also taking a chunk of damage from the members of Gaimin Gladiators. 9 eliminations. We questioned if it's going to be 18th year that will be the game changer for this team, but everyone in Gaimin Gladiators is stepping up today.
Yes, they are stepping up on the 3rd game with the highest eliminations on the 12 minutes, and now they are moving towards the zone. We are seeing Loud with only 2 players left. They need to be careful as well because right now for Loud, they will be met with Gaimin Gladiators if they go through foundation. But if, let's say, they move towards on north of the map, then the chances are they'll be met with EVOs. Both Indonesian team are gatekeeping for Loud to move forward as well. But for Nenshu Miners, we are seeing very close towards Fluxo. And for Falcon, using the jump pad to get a clean shot, move towards, but RRQ just in front of them.
And they're just waiting. They need to be able to not only get inside the building, but also punish them for even dropping outside. They both go inside. Tatsuya repositions. Peter punish already knocked down. And this situation is going to be Falcons that's going to be taken down here. Not done, quite done yet. Apax with a quad. cause Q all alone has to go for the revive, buy some time, ring around the Rosie, try to find a little opening from inside of the compound and behind of this blue wall. Can't move, can't go anywhere, can't reposition, can't revive your teammates. EVOS looks so good, 11 eliminations in the bag, and they completely demolished the Hometown Heroes at 10.
And right now for RRQ, they cannot rest. We have Evos trying to go in with 11 eliminations. They are taking the kill leader. But right now for Ray, immediately throw that glue vector, break all those glue walls. And with that FGL-24, immediately taken some damage, 2 knock. And they have taken 3 players. And now RRQ eliminated.
EVOS, despite the fact that they had to take 2 fights in a row, they said, bring it, takes 2 teams down. PE Sports goes down here. It's going to be Buram United. We saw how aggressive they can be, and they are okay with this. If anyone goes aggressive to them it's just 3 points coming at them. That is how aggressive, how confident, and how passionate this team is. But over on the other end, look at how many teams are onto the other side.
Yes, we have Buriram, we have Guardian, Fluxo, AG Global, Loud, and Evos. They are all on this side. So the chances are for Buriram, they'll be fighting with Fluxo and as well as coming from AG as well. And only one will emerge coming from this 3-way fights. And we are seeing Moshe has been taken out, but Get High with the low HP been taken out as well. Coming from Gade with that SVD.
Buram United over on 6 EVOS. They are just riding off that high of aggression. Momentum 17 in the bag. AG Global knockdown already. EVOS happy with 4. Taking advantage of the 2-man advantage.
Oh!
4 Diamond Gladiators and EVOS. They make it so very quick.
With that Loud War on the 2nd place, Gaimin Gladiators took that booyah for the 3rd match in map Kalahari. Good job, congratulations to the Indonesian team.
This team, despite the non-home ground advantage, their teammates, they look so good. The flag waving in the crowd. They feel so happy today. Quiet in the knockout stage. Quiet on Talent Rush. But today, they roar like the Tigers they are.
Yes, Evos! Congratulations to you for this booyah. Immediately, the chances are they'll be on the 1st place since the game 3 just now.
It's just been so unlucky for Falcons. They started off the day strong, but everyone seemed to understand and see right through how they've been playing. They've been taking these fights. Yes, they are very aggressive, but their movement, perhaps a bit of over-aggression, has really been the downfall in the last 2 maps.
Yes, and what a good thing about Evos is just then, they immediately wiped the 3-way fights coming from AG Global, Buriram, Fluxo, and now with Loud trying to run away, trying to reposition themselves, but couldn't do anything. 4 versus 1, immediately been taken out as well.
I wouldn't even say it was a 3rd party even. Because EVOS was a team that had taken out Falcons, immediately 3rd-partied by RRQ, and they were ready for that. How aware the game sense for this team is phenomenal. And on top of that, they go into the circle, and after they come into that circle itself, they take these fights. They're just fighting these stragglers. They weren't keeping quiet either. I wouldn't say 3rd party is a strat. They are a team that has been resilient, phenomenal, and incredibly hot today.
And also, I've spoke to Evo's team as well before they were playing here. They were saying they will do their best. They will try to get that booyah for all the Indonesian fans out there as well. What a good job coming.
It's great for them. I mean, I think all eyes were on RRQ as the Indonesian representatives. We were excited looking at them. Day number 1 explosive, back-to-back booyahs for the team. They were maintaining their position. And now suddenly today, they don't seem to have an answer for the rise of these teams that had kept quiet to a knockout stage. We had this conversation before. Knockout stage is just about making it to that top 12. Point rush, trying to be able to collect these points to give you a little bit of a head start, but nothing too massive. But for now, we have our next 2 casters waiting in the wings. Let's see what they have to say about our first 3 matches of the day.
Welcome to the halftime report. You're with your boys Husky and Mustachio. It's been an explosive day, and nobody could have thought it could go this way. Hit it with a recap, bro.
So basically, we had 3 amazing games to start this grand final. Starting with game 1, where the teams, they got off to a very slow start, right? Just biding their fangs, biding their time. But Team Falcons flashed their talents and broke a historical 40-point booyah game to set the tone for the grand finals. Then came game 2. AG Global, they funneled Team Falcons through a meat grinder and stopped their streak. But at the end of the day, it was Fluxo from Brazil to keep their fairy tale run alive. And then we had game 3, where the Indonesians stepped up. Gaming Gladiators and Evo's Divine stepped into the ring and flashed that red and white shade of the Indonesian flag, with Evo's coming out on top with that booyah. This is only getting started. We have heck of a grand finals on our hands, AJ.
3 more games to go, and this is not all that you get from us, right? We'll hand you back over to the analysts for the time being and catch you from the caster's desk.
Thank you, Husky. Thank you, AJ. And yes, we've just hit the halfway mark here at the grand finals. And I think it's safe to say we don't know who's taking this trophy home. We do not have the defined leader. We don't have any teams that seem to be in the hot seat, on that throne, keeping it warm. It seems to be bouncing between a couple of teams. But gentlemen, let's talk about Kalahari here, because it was a very Indonesian-favored map, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out one of the facts that mentioned by Ovi is that he notices that Falcons like to play from the outside of the circle coming in. While we look through the numbers as well, where EVOS, they got the Booyah with 32 points. So playing for the outside in, great. You have opportunities to gain elimination points because teams will be in front of you. You can run at them. But for EVOS specifically, they played in the middle of the circle. They had a compound. So what happened was then Falcons went to them, followed by RRQ that went to them, and I have to give it to them. They splendidly defended their ground against 2 teams back-to-back. 8 points handed to them after that hard work, and that's how they got at least half of the points collected by this round.
Yeah, and it was, again, as to Danny's point, it was all Indonesia. These 2 squads were almost taking the lion's share of all the kills. They were almost in every single team fight that you saw. Just very impressive play. And this is kind of like with the momentum of EVOS, right? We saw this in the yesterday's points rush. They were starting to do well. They were starting to get very involved and aggressive, and they were starting to get kills, and then it really paid off in this 3rd map here.
It paid off, and the momentum doesn't seem to change at all in these games. It seems like we're just getting slower and slower. But I do expect things to pick up here, because Kalahari, let's be realistic, this is one of the largest maps in the game. So the games here tend to be a little slower. I kind of wonder, and this is just a theory of mine, but we'll try and expand on it here. The fact that the games are so slow, is this pacing hurting our original top dogs? Because it seems to me, because we are playing such a different style of Free Fire, we're not seeing our past leaders leading the leaderboard here.
Yeah, I would say there is a correlation there, because if we look at the trend, right, like top dog teams like Falcons, like Buriram especially.
Loud?
Yeah, loud.
high
They like
kill
to run
teams.
around, like getting eliminations very, very early on. They like to stack things up from the start. But with this kind of gameplay from other teams avoiding them somehow, well, I guess they are not able to get those points, and the points will be well spread across.
Yeah, and if we're going to look at the MVP here, it's going to be EVOS. It's going to be Ray with his 5 eliminations, really kind of helping out this team and spark this team to getting their massive 20 kills.
Lots of healing as well, 2,000 healing. Pretty high for an average heal round. But EVOS gotta be feeling really good after that round. Massive points from eliminations, placements as well. I kind of want to see what this leaderboard looks like now, because I don't think anyone will be able to predict what is really happening, because originally I thought Falcons would be able to stay up there, right? You had a great start. Their points equivalent to having 2 pretty good rounds in one single game. But after that first round, the team has sort of fallen down a little bit. I think they need a rest. They need to go back to the Falcons' nest and rest up before they can try and go for another big soar. Who do you actually think is actually at the top of this leaderboard now?
Well, I guess it was also mentioned as well by our casters that possibly EVOS will be at #1 right now, because Falcons, they didn't really do too well this round. I think they were out at like 8th place or so, so that didn't bring them too many points. Hence, that gave them that gave EVOS the opportunity to go up. And here are the numbers. EVOS Esports is now #1.
the EVOS Tiger has sprouted wings and is now outpacing Team Falcons. Massive lead here for the Indonesians. And this is insane because we did talk about this earlier on. So many eyeballs, so many targets on the Brazilian and Thai teams. And now we have Indonesia leading the pack with a significant point lead. And unless somebody stops them, the Tigers might just overrun it and take the trophy.
I love it. I love it. This is peak Free Fire, right? The fact that like one of the teams is really stepping up on the grand finals. This is an Indonesian squad where they've been very hungry for a championship. They play very well. They're very strong as a region, but they've been kind of in the shadows almost of the Thailand teams and the Brazilian squads.
Yeah, and if I were to be real, right, like back in my village, when we had this conversation,
This
we've
village
always
might be
been-
demolished after this.
Yeah.
But go on.
in 3 more rounds, we always had this conversation about like, oh, the Brazilian versus Thailand, and who was the next name? It is Indonesians. And this could be their moment to shine because they have always been knocking on the door to do well.
For sure. And I'm actually looking forward to this. But I think that, like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. It's one of those things where any of the top teams can strike. They can get that massive 30-point game, and it shifts everything once again. But again, like, Falcon had that massive game. Can they do it again? We're going to have to see. I think BRU is another team that we really need to look out for.
Yep. Let's look at the schedule very quickly so we have a quick recap on what has happened. If you are late to the show, don't worry. We have our first 3 winners of the day. We started with Team Falcons with a massive victory on Bermuda, followed by Fluxo coming in and sweeping that second booyah. And then for game number 3 in Kalahari, we have EVOS Esports securing the booyah and setting the pace on that leaderboard. We still have 3 more games to go. We have Alpine, Nextera, and of course, our final random map, which we will only find out what map this is going to be during that final round. But gentlemen, we are reaching the point of no return for some of our bottom teams. Unfortunately, even though we are at the grand finals, there is only so many points that you can score. There are only so many eliminations that can be shared. And so, at this point of time, where would you say is the cutoff for our top performing teams to still be in the running for the trophy?
For the trophy. Wow. Okay. I mean, realistically, I think 41, Fluxo, which is in 5th place right now, I think that that's kind of where you want to be. I mean, it's still 30 points down from the leader, but I think mathematically, with 3 more matches where you can kind of shake it up. Plus, we've seen a lot of good things out of Fluxo. They've actually done decent. So I think that this is a team that we can kind of has that potential to get up there, but that trophy it's going to be a mountain to climb.
Well, if I would take example from yesterday, I think it's the best sample for us to take, right? Buriram came in with, topped the group with 117 points. So it could be around the 100+ point mark.
It's scary. It's very, very scary for these teams. Folks, if you haven't already, send your support to all of your teams competing here in the grand final, because at the halfway mark, they're going to need all the luck that they can get, especially for teams that are not satisfied with their performance here so far at the Free Fire Esports World Cup. We are getting ready to jump into our next map here. It is none other than Alpine. A little chilly, lots of terrain to work with, but I'm pretty sure the teams are going to be able to pull this off. Any final predictions before we pass over to our casters, gentlemen?
Well, it feels like the rise of the Indonesians. I mean, I'm not going to name a team in case I get the curse, but rise of the Indonesians.
Yeah, and BRU played really well in Alpine yesterday. I expect them to kind of bounce back. They're kind of, I mean, I don't want to say they're middling because they're still 3rd place, but they still haven't been that team that we expected where they're just kind of like destroying everybody. I think BRU will bounce back in this game.
All right. We are going to give the teams a little bit more time to set up and get ready for this next matchup, game number 4, because it is getting a little tense. We did manage to actually sneak away with one of the Fluxo players for an interview. So let's see what Fluxo have to say before we jump into match number 4.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Halfway through the grand finals of Free Fire Esports World Cup 2024. I'm joined by none other than Fluxo and Carol Bombshell. You guys have been a lot more consistent so far today, but EVO's consistency is just out of this world right now after 3 matches. What are you guys going to be doing to stop EVO's from just running away with it?
Vocês estão conseguindo manter partidas bem consistentes, mas a gente está vendo que também a EVOS está conseguindo muita consistência durante as partidas. O que vocês vão fazer para tentar tirar essa regularidade, essa consistência da EVOS?
Mano, Por enquanto, começou agora a final. Por enquanto nós vamos fazer o nosso jogo, continuar fazendo o que a gente planejou, tudo que a gente treinou, manter essa regularidade, aumentar um pouco a pontuação por partida e jogar até o final, mano. O campeonato acaba na última queda só.
So far, we're gonna keep the same thing that we have planned before. We practice a lot, and we are not worried about the other teams because right now we just want to do our best game, and the competition only will end in the last match. So there's a lot more to come.
Okay, I like hearing that. With 3 matches left, how many booyahs can we expect out of you guys?
Mais 3 partidas acontecendo aí pela frente. Quantos buias a gente pode esperar de vocês, já que vocês já têm um?
Mais 2, 3, metade das quedas ali de buia, né? Temos 1, mais 2, fica 3, metade das quedas tá bom.
Okay, more 2 buias.
Ooh, I like the confidence. Fluxo, Carol Bombshell, the 7WG, back to you guys.
Glad to hear the team is still very positive today and feeling very good about still being able to make that catch-up happen. But I think we do have to give a lot of respect to EVOS because they have been incredibly consistent.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the interview show. Right after the match, then congratulations, EVOS Esports. Right next to me is Gede. So, how do you feel right now after receiving the booyah in the 3rd game?
Gimana rasanya abis dapetin booyah di game ketiga?
Rasanya biasa aja.
Ya, normal.
Normal? Why is it normal?
Kok bisa biasa aja?
Ya baru buya pertama juga, nanti kalau ada buya lagi baru bahagia.
Because it's just the first booyah. If you can get more booyah, then maybe we'll be happy.
I believe that you guys will achieve more booyah as well. So during the latest match and also from the knockout stage until today, does you and your team have any difficulties in like talking with each other or about the tactics? Is there any problem you guys have been through until here?
Jadi dari sampai match barusan, bahkan dari ke knockout stage, apakah ada hal-hal berbeda yang kalian lakuin? Apakah kayak komunikasi? Apa aja sih yang sebenarnya kalian siapin buat sampai grand final ini?
Kalau persiapan dari coachnya aja sih, paling dari drop zone kita. Cuman selebihnya ya kita mainnya kalau buat final lebih santai aja.
The differences that we do is maybe from our coach, so like our drop zones and etc. But for the finals, we mainly focus to play more relaxed, so we're not under pressure.
Relax is a good game to play as well. Then last questions. To be here in Riyadh, EWC Free Fire, I believe that is a very special thing to EVOS. So do you have any words you want to say to the viewers and also to the EVOS family as well?
Untuk kalian bisa nyampe di Riyadh ini, untuk Esports World Cup, di turnamen Free Fire ini pasti sangat berharga banget buat kalian EVOS Esports ya. Kira-kira ada nggak yang kalian pengen ucapin ke para viewer dan juga fans-fans kalian?
Ya buat para viewers dan penonton pendukung kami, siap-siapin aja JJ, insya Allah kita juara.
Yeah, for the viewers and our fans, just prepare JJ TikTok format because amen to God, we will be the champion of this tournament.
Wow, very confident. Then congratulations again, Gede. Booyah! Now, let's get back to the studio and thank you so much.
That was Gede from EVOS, and they're so relaxed. Gede's interview was so relaxed. It almost feels like he hasn't played any games today. But I love the fact that he's challenged all of his fans and said that, guys, prepare the TikToks because we're going to win this. Now, before we jump into our next game of the day, we are going to go for a quick break. So as always, folks, if you need to do anything, head to the toilet, grab your snacks, call your friends, but make sure you're back because Alpine is next here at the Free Fire Esports World Cup.
You ever wondered how a Hollywood movie is shot? On a Sony. You review it on a Sony. And how do you make that sound epic? You record it on a Sony. Lunch break on a Sony. So why wouldn't you watch it on a Bravia by Sony?
Welcome back, Quick Shot, and everyone currently watching to the grand finals of Free Fire Esports World Cup 2024. We're halfway through the day, and boy, have we had some surprises. The first win, the first booyah, the team that was able to get it, Team Falcons, that's a team that's currently contending for the club championship. The second booyah was none other than Fluxo, and the third one, the most recent one, EVOS, one of the most consistent teams so far today, and they're able to currently take first place after that booyah. I can't wait to see what's going to happen, and I can't wait to see who the champion is going to be for Free Fire Esports World Cup 2024.
Welcome back to the panel, survivors. We are getting ready for our next matchup. Here is match number 4 here at the Free Fire Esports World Cup 2024. Alpine is on the horizon, and we are still going to give our teams a little bit more time to prepare because this is a very critical moment for some of our teams because they're not happy with their performances. We have some top competitors, but again, anything can happen in these next 3 matchup, gentlemen. But before we jump into our next matchup, let's have a quick recap as to what happened in our latest matchup, which was Kalahari. The total scoreboard, what happened, where are our teams, the overall rankings so far for the Free Fire division. We have EVOS sitting pretty in first place, 70 points, a massive lead over the competition. With Team Falcons, second place, 54 points. They can close this gap, but I kind of feel like a miracle has to happen.
Yeah, although it looks like a massive lead, but then again, with the 3 rounds that we still have, it's still doable. Of course, imagine if the worst case scenario for EVOS. Now, I'm not going to jinx them, but then again, the worst case scenario that they don't get any points in the following rounds, that will open up a lot of room for even not only Team Falcons, Buriram United, but AG Global, Fluxo, even probably Gaming Gladiators could catch up.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint at the end of the day. I mean, it's just we've played one half. We have a whole nother half to go. I think a lot of the teams can really just kind of bounce up and play much better going into this one. I expect bigger things from that bottom half because they're not looking so pretty right now.
They need that consistency to kick in now because if it's not now, I think at this point it's going to be a never. But before we start this matchup, very quickly, gentlemen, I want to hear your dark horses for this map because we've put a lot of emphasis on our top dogs, but we do have some teams slipping through under the cracks.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I'd like to see 18 Deer Esports, Gaming Gladiators to come up with something in the next round.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Loud. I mean, these are the knockout groups kings. They have not played well. I expect much better things out of the Loud squad. Right now it means Loud. It might actually mean something else by the end of the day, assuming they pick up their play.
Oh, this man spinning bullets. But actually, I'm really glad you brought up Loud, right? Because this was a team that we thought was going to be a very strong team coming into that grand final. But what do we kind of feel like has been setting this team back? Because this, I think, let's be realistic, Loud is not playing their style that they have been thriving with earlier in the tournament.
I think it's been the neutralization of Yago, right? It was almost all Yago all the time, and then everyone was like, okay, let's put it, let's damper this a little bit. Let's focus him out. Let's take him out. And Loud has suffered because of it. The Yago really needs to get going.
Yeah, as a team, you cannot depend only on one player, right? Like everyone else have to pick up the pace as well. So yes, great, Yago can perform, he can put in the elimination points, but hey, it's not only Yago Esports that we're talking about here to be the champion.
I mean, isn't that the same case with 18 Deer? Yago and 18 Deer, so similar, aren't they? Literally MVPs for their teams. But it looks like we are getting ready to jump into this next matchup, folks. But first, we're going to pass it over to our stage hosts as we get ready for game number 4. It is Alpine for the Free Fire Esports World Cup.
Hi everyone, and we are back, me and Milosh. So we did had a lot of fun, right? 3 Booyahs in 3 games with like Team Falcons, Fluxo, and EVOS Esports. They all did a very good job and they all tried their best to achieve this mischievous trophy. How do you feel about the hype right now in the stadium?
Honestly, it's incredible to see all the fans. We even have fans from EVOS in here. You see, international as all you expect here at the Esports World Cup. But we have hit the halfway mark, which means there are 3 more games left. Now, so far, it's been 2 Southeast Asian teams that have won and 1 Brazilian. So one after the other. Do we expect the Brazilian team to take it now?
I would like to pick a Thai team. I really hope that Team Falcons can make the way. How about you, your predictions?
Honestly, I don't want to steal from you, but maybe PE Sports can take a win. I'm sure I'll be happy for it.
I also hope the best for PE Sport as well, so try your best, everyone.
There you go. Though, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the halfway mark. There are 3 more games to go. 12 teams and only 1 winner to hoist this trophy at the end of the day. Casters are ready. Games are set. We'll give it back to you and kick off match number 4.
Thank you, Milosh. Thank you, Yunso. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, survivors of all ages. It's game number 4, baby. Now, we heard so many names out there, but we did not hear Buriram United Esports, the only team to top the charts at Nextera thus far with 39 points.
And this could be the comeback moment, right? We have seen this time and time again, year after year, tournament after tournament, even before a trophy hoist moment.
Yeah.
If the competition hasn't ended yet, BRU hasn't ended yet.
I mean, they showed it to us just yesterday, right? First 3 games, nah. And then, of course, the final 3, they shot right up to the very top of the leaderboard. This is gonna be game number 4 once again, Nextera. And the flight path shooting straight from Fusion all the way down to Railroads, opening up the whole map for these squads.
I love me some good Alpine games because this is BRU's best performing map. If there is a turning point for the Thai team, this is going to be it. We've seen Falcons coming out the gate swinging 40 points in the first rounds, but now it felt like their fangs have dulled after that. EVOS Divine is the team that I would not expect to see at the top of the chart, and here they are, right? They are actually giving themselves a substantial lead.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Nobody expected EVOS Divine to be at the very top, but that's what the Esports World Cup is all about, baby. You can never tell exactly what's going to happen. It's all up to the hustle from these squads. Thus far, not a lot of hot drops out there. I think the teams are finally starting to get wind of each and every single one of these drop zones and very smartly avoiding each other. But RRQ and PE Sports a little bit too close for comfort here.
Absolutely. These 2 teams have been struggling tremendously, I think, especially PE Sports, who's been having a rough time so far, placed in 11th on the overall leaderboard, and it feels like one of them is going to get wiped out after this. The Brazilians are also taking each other out. You can see that Cowan just took out Bobs as well. Ma'au finding a narrow to kick things off.
Yeah, thankfully, they're not too close, so it's not going to be a full team wipe for any one of these teams just yet. Just a little bit of a setback, especially for teams like RRQ as well as Team Fluxo. Now, they should be able to recover in a little bit. The biggest question as of this point is going to be, how is Duds going to get out of this one without the backup of the rest of his team members? We can see Abehai slowly but surely approaching the situation for that backup. Don't cry, backs away, AC-80 in hand. The slightly better gun from a distance like that. Duds cannot respond with the SMG just yet. Needs 2 more bullets, but supported from afar by Razor's XM8.
So well done from the side of RRQ. They bided their time. They bought enough space. Razor does go down thanks to LBT, but the rest of RQ are just around the corner. So PE Sports, this is not a win that you can celebrate. LBT barely dodging the bullet, just grazing the side of his skull, but it's only a matter of time until RRQ catches up. LBT with a time turner and a bit of healing to buy time and space.
Yeah, time turner saves his life for the time being. Gets a drop onto Duds as well. Very smart play from the PE Sports player. Nero nowhere near to provide that support. He's backed away for that that full team revive. Abe High makes one tiny little mistake, but does not get taken down just yet. LBT does manage to put Dutch down on the ground once again. Abe High tries to sneak away, but LBT a tad bit too aggressive, but no grenades in hand to play. He had to commit.
And that was as good as it gets for LBT, single-handedly going up against two members of RRQ and almost making the impossible happen. But AG Global, on the other hand, will be up against Team Solid, currently in last place. The team that we thought was the kryptonite of BRU is kryptonite no more. The performance not solid at all.
Yeah, they could still mess with the chances of BRU if we do get the random map to be dropped at Bermuda. We have seen so many hot drops between these two teams, but for the time being, it's going to be Team Solid being melted down once again, and AG Global not breaking a sweat at all. A perfect sidestep with the Tatsuya Saifa and the Bison, 2 for the guy, and he's not stopped just yet. Team Solid being grounded by AG.
Yeah, even Quackshot got taken out off screen by Stop, so suddenly for Team Solid, they are down to just Nyx 7. And that's not the end of the round just yet for them, for sure, but they're surrounded by Netshoe miners, so there's really not much space for this last survivor of Team Solid to head to.
Netshoe's miners, slow rotation in towards Vantage. The possibility of coming across AG Global is there, but they do not need to rush this. It's just the first circle. Even if they do have to tank the blue for a longer rotation round, they can most definitely sustain that. They are not in the best of places on the overall leaderboard, currently holding on to the 9th spot. They need massive number of points to climb.
They actually scanned out Nyx, but they decided to just leave it be, right? There's no need to go for the chase. They're not in rush to get any single points. But for Team Solid, if they get eliminated in 12th place again, I think that their hopes will be shattered. There's no more chance to chase for the trophy.
This is that replay of that fight earlier on, where Bobs did not foresee coming across his brethren from Brazil.
Wait.
Kawan 7 was the one with the initial shots, and through the window, he just followed up with an AC-80. Beautiful stuff out of the man.
Absolutely disgusting. Kawan stepping up big time. PE Sports, the first team to get wiped out. Heartbreak for the Vietnamese. 11th place, and they're still going to be there after this. And this is already past the halfway point, right? We are into the final lap, and it just feels like for Vietnam, this is just not going to be the tournament.
It might not be the tournament, but we have seen them rise from the ashes in the past. But remember also, Husky, every single climb on that leaderboard, every single step they take, they get a bonus in terms of US dollars. So I'm very sure the PE Esports players are more than motivated to step up their gameplay in the final 2 games that we have in front of them. Team Falcons, on the other hand, you said it perfectly, man. They stood up and they showed everybody that they're not going to take this one lying down. 40 points, Bomber with that booyah. But after that, it seems like they've got their wings clipped.
Absolutely. Not even in first place, right? They get a cushion for themselves and they still kind of fell through kind of the foundations. Loud, on the other hand, actually driving away. Don't want to be a part of this fight against the Gaimin Gladiators. And for Loud, I would also say that they are coming into this grand finals with nothing more than a whimper, right? Not really the best performance, you know, they're still in contention for sure, but it does feel like their counterparts Fluxo are having a better time.
Unfortunately, starting off the day alongside Team Solid with a negative 5 points most definitely took a toll on them. I'm very sure their spirits are broken a tad bit, but we will see if or not the Brazilians can rise back up to the occasion. Twisted Mind, Sam Ming, one of the sharpest shooters, one of the sharpest snipers out there on the battlefield, teasing Lost 21, who's more of a CQB fighter with the Bison in hand. He circles around the Tatsuya burst just a tad bit too slow. As Sam Ming had a tad bit of backup there, Twisted Minds quickly overwhelm him with the numbers.
Even you can see on the screen that supporters for Twisted Minds really want them to step up the game because from round 3 onwards, they subbed out Nameless for Potato, who was a regional champion. And right now, coming in as a last-minute replacement to try and pull the team back to make sure that they don't derail. Twisted Mind needs this round badly. But for EVOS, if they get just another good round, I think Indonesia will be delighted.
I mean, if they get another solid round, they may just be the champions of this competition. But the biggest problem with the Indonesian region, as we have seen so many times in the past, is consistency. They know how to hit those high notes. They just cannot find a way to maintain that. We saw RRQ move forward and backward with that pendulum swing as well. Let's just hope their brothers have seen that and learned from their mistakes, because what they most definitely need right now is to slow their pace down and get to those final circles. What they need is the booyah, not solid eliminations as of now.
And I gotta say, I'm super impressed that, I mean, Indonesian fans showing up at the SDC Arena. Ray finding Lost 21, that is already a good start for EVOS Divine. Remember, if you are in the lead in the grand finals in the second leg, of the tournament, you do not need to go ultra aggressive. It's all about playing it slow and steady. You make it to the final circle and make sure that you keep that advantage. Evo's Divine, they're doing just that.
And the fan buff is definitely going to lend a little bit of extra energy to their side as well, right? The Indonesians, yes, this is not home soil, but they do not want to lose in front of those fans that flew all the way here to see them in action. Thus far, they've been making them proud for sure. But I just want to see how do they fare in this next engagement, potentially with the players of Twisted Minds.
And look at this headshot from Ray.
Beauty.
Absolutely stunning. Just one is all it took. And that's how you slowly gain momentum for yourself. I mean, Evo's Divine on the map, they're splitting up a little bit. And it's not like they're in the clear, surrounded by BRU, Loud, Twisted Minds, Skymin Gladiators, RRQ on the far end. They found themselves in the center of the safe zone. And now is where this is what you talk about, right? How do they maintain that consistency?
I always want a calculated approach towards that final circle. But this spacing is kind of making me yawn a tad bit. I want some action, baby. Let's see a couple of players get into some heated battles. But of course, teams like Buriram, they're going to try to stay as silent as possible, avoiding all engagement till they move on. How do they do that? It's with that R1. Now, off screen, we have seen them scan out the players over at Railroad. They have detected 4 players on the side of Loud there. It's a question of do they swoop on in for the eliminations or do they move away from Railroads to avoid that engagement?
It's going to get pretty tight considering that we are almost 9 minutes in and still 11 full squads left.
Oh, yeah.
That means that that final circle, whoever gets the booyah might just come down to a coin toss and an intervention.
I don't like
unlucky
that.
circle.
Yeah, I hate that, man. I mean, chaotic circles are ones where you really cannot tell how it's going to end, mainly because you're shooting right in front of you and you're getting pelted by bullets from all 3 angles, right? Team Falcons slowly moving away from Forest Red, not really worrying about the blue zone at all. It is, after all, just circle number 2. They've got more than enough medkits to patch themselves right back up. The more important thing here for the Falcons is to pick up those free fire coins and make sure each and every single player here has got that horizon line. They do have to make those pit stops over at the vending machines since it's no longer available in the pocket market.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is kind of a theory that I summarized from ever since Mobile Masters is that the Brazilian teams, they are hyper fixated on Buriram. It felt like Buriram is an unhealthy obsession and they started to overlook teams like Falcons, teams like Twisted Minds, and this is why you see the other Thai squads step up. And even then, BRU are holding their own pretty well with Loud in front of them.
Hey, it's a beautiful blessing, right? And looks like the question is answered. Buriram not shying away from a battle. They move straight in towards Railroads. The 4 players that got scanned out earlier on. The players from Loud. And now Buriram right above them on the leaderboard as well as the building. Let's see how they hop on over to that second floor to engage. And now off screen, we also see the Netshoes miners slowly circling on in as well. But they're not going to be in equal distance to take those shots from those snipers.
Yeah, can't say the same for Team Solid losing Guaksha and then Trap. Nyx again being the last man alive for the team. It felt like it's been in this position before, but now the situation is even more dire. The circle's closing in, not much resources left on the map for Team Solid.
Yeah, the problem is they were solid as ice, and in the sun at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, you're just gonna melt, and they have melted all the way down to the bottom of the leaderboard, with unfortunately no way of climbing at this point of time with this sort of a performance. But we'll have to catch up with them to see if or not they can pull off a miracle resuscitation, revive the full squad, and come back in here for a little bit of hot action just to at least climb a couple of ranks. The players from Buriram are still buying a lot of time for themselves up there on the roof, not really stepping down to engage with Loud, and it seems like Loud have heard those footsteps. They don't want to step out of this compound because they know they're going to get their head shot off.
This is what makes it scary. If you're in Loud's position, you know someone is up there, but at the same time, you also need to check the perimeter, right? Yeah. You do not know if someone is going to come in from Railroad and get that 3-way fight going. We even see the Homer being used earlier on from one of the Loud members just to make sure that no one is close enough to threaten them. But Jonah, he's scanning out for info.
The first one to make a mistake is going to probably give the team the fight away. Wasana from the back. The first shot does not find the connection. He instead gets tagged. A fantastic grenade, though, tossed on in. Wasana supplies yet another. Has got the Trogon in hand. 1 pump away, but the rest of his team members have not arrived just yet.
It's going to be BRU going in on the offense. Loud feels like they're not ready to receive the hit. They are backing up as far as they can to find a decent position to work with.
Play.
And Drax, he's going to go for the wraparound. BRU wants to chase, but Loud is not making it easy for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Loud's repositioning is just absolutely perfect here. They're closer towards that zone, which means Buriram is going to be taking a lot of hit from that blue circle. Falcons, on the other hand, have smelled out a EVOS player, and they're going in for the shutdown. 1 grenade, 2 grenades. They hit them with the Homer as well. And here comes the swoop. On fire, absolutely on fire. But thus far, the only thing that they've managed to grab from the EVOS players is that 1 elimination.
And that means EVOS, they are forced out of their nest right into the crosshairs of 3 different teams. This is a horrible spot for EVOS Divine to be in. Apex getting knocked down onto the ground. Even the portal being used on fire, pelting them with explosives from afar. Apex just could not withstand the absolute bombardment from AG and Twisted Minds. G'day and AimGod only having a stairway to keep them standing, but G'day gets shot down from afar, and AimGod does not have much left in the tank.
This is what I meant by that consistency. This is a team that can hit those high notes very, very well. But unfortunately, you cannot continue smiling if you're a fan of EVOS Divine. Now, they just have to bide their time in a position like this. It's super risky. 11 more teams alive and kicking there, and AimGod has no way to bring his team members back unless Gaming Gladiators move away from that vending machine.
Disappointment on the Fluxo fans because Fluxo just got knocked out in 11th place. The Fairy Tale looking more like a nightmare. Buriram goes for the revive as AimGod somehow is still in the lobby, but perhaps not for long. Twisted Minds continuing to go on the push, and AimGod just has too many problems and too little time and solution to work with. 1 more gets the knock, and EVOS are out.
Had the Horizon line on him, but 1 more said, no more for you, sir. Takes him out of the equation with the M82B, and the rest of the squad continues circling around. But from outside the circle, Twisted Minds are in a lot of trouble. AG Global spots them.
I believe BRU also were under a lot of fire. Jonah just got taken out. Lau still in the picture, and Team Falcons ready to soar high again as they are coming in for a very, very nice angle. As long as they don't get into a firefight, they can pin some multiple teams.
Oh, beautiful shot there, and Falcon slowly circling in to finish off the final player from the side of Buriram. And it looks like that's about it for your 2-time world champs taken out in the 9th spot. RRQ continues to battle up against their brothers Gaiman Gladiators from the opposite end. Team Solid once again melted down in 8th spot. This is all crumbling down slowly for the Brazilian squads.
Twisted Mind just all went down to the blue zone, so this is just catastrophe. They had such a good position, and it was nature that took them out. Team Falcons also didn't walk away from that skirmish unscathed. They did lose 1 more, but 3 members is still pretty sufficient to hold the ground.
Yeah, everybody's nervous to approach this next circle, but that's exactly what's going to happen when you underestimate what the blue zone can do to you, Twisted Minds. I hope they have learned their lesson for this next game. Falcons, on the other hand, are going to find it super difficult to get into this next compound because 2 teams, Loud and RRQ, right in front of them. They most definitely need a portal goal to portal themselves over to the opposite end.
What a circle this is. Neshu Miners and AG Global sharing the same spot. Gaiman Gladiators out in the open, and they just become easy pickings for any single team that have a compound to work with. But if you're Neshu Miners and AG Global, you gotta start moving. Falcons as well, and this is why you see Pandemonium ensue, General Razor, they all get knocked in eliminations. Gaiman Gladiators out.
What I wanted EVOS Divine to do, Falcons is trying to do now. Get to that final circle before those engagements, but unfortunately for them, the Brazilians say not now, not today. Lost 21 with the final shot, and they wipe the floor with Falcons out in the 5th spot. And Brazil wants it right back for themselves. The monster truck is out as well. AG Global trying to ram everybody down.
And they just push General into the blue zone. Caramel might be the lifeline for AG Global as he tries to get to safety. Coming back with a turnaround. RRQ on the other hand, losing Dus, but having 11 eliminations under their belt with Loud right underneath them.
A super comeback from the Brazilian squad of Loud. Now all they need to do is just wait patiently for RRQ to hop on off of this building and then take them out from the back. But that will also mean they need to tank the blue zone for quite a bit. And this zone does not play games with you. It will hurt and put them in an unfortunate position unless they choose to take that portal goal, flip themselves towards the opposite side of the battlefield and engage with NMG first.
NMG trying to take a better position by taking out Caramel. At least the attempt is going to be there. Caramel just trying to box himself in with the glue wall to buy as much time as possible. Meanwhile, RRQ and Lau, on the other hand, are slaughtering each other, but it's RRQ that is coming out on top.
Oh, it's just a day for Indonesia. RRQ, can they pick up this next booyah? Ma'al with a grenade, cooked up already, tosses it in. Yago just clips the side of him. It does not take him down just yet. AG Global just going to try to watch this one break down, but Caramel in a lot of trouble as well as Nando 9 and Ra 1 try to fish him out from behind his glue wall. No more grenades in the hands of Nando 9. He just has to depend on his M82B. Woodpecker shots from Ra 1 trying to chip away at the Brazilian players. 8 eliminations in hand already. And how is Caramel still alive?
It's coming down to the wire, AJ. Every single team is beaten, battered, and bruised. Mao finds the knock onto Drax, but Yago might still be able to save him. Drax out of the blue. He's going to go up. Caramel shows up from behind, gets knocked by Nando and Raul. And maybe Netshu Miners found the perfect play. RQ Kazu, Razor would not stand. Netshu Miners find a booyah.
Beautiful play for Netshoes Miners. From the 9th spot, they should be able to, at the very least, hop 4 ranks above them. Bided their time, not massive number of eliminations on their side, but they were looking for that coveted booyah on this grand stage, on this grand finals, and they found exactly that.
What a shake-up to this grand finals. They came into the final circle with only 2 members left alive, and they spent a majority of their sequence trying to flush out Caramel. But it worked out in their favor. Loud and RRQ took each other out, and NMG came in to pick up the scraps.
And NMG has blessed us with an absolute mind-boggling situation. We do not know. We have no clear winner for the grand finals just yet. If Falcons had made it through to that final battle, we perhaps could say that, oh, okay, here we have the champions already technically crowned. If EVOS Divine had gotten there, perhaps, right? But Netshu Miners from the bottom, climbing all the way up to the top. AG Global as well, assisting them. But I have to say, right, this was a brilliant game for AG. In the 3rd spot earlier, it should put them in a decent race now for the championship.
Absolutely. Every single year we said that Free Fire could not get more competitive than this, and now we are in this situation where we literally have no idea who can win, and this is what we asked for. Right? Prayers have been answered, at least for the audience and for us at the desk, for the players. Oh man, can you imagine how nerve-wracking this feels with 2 more rounds left?
It is nerve-wracking. I can feel it right now, but of course, let's hand it over to the analyst desk to break down this game a little bit further.
That endgame was chaotic. We had 2 battles happening at the exact same time. And Caramel, this man should have gone down much sooner. Netshu Miners, they were stuck trying to deal with Caramel, but then you had RRQ and Loud having their own little kerfuffle on the other side of that endgame. I don't think anyone expected such a chaotic ending to that matchup, but we do need to break things down here because a lot has changed with this storyline. We thought EVOS were going to continue with the consistency, but this was the one match that this team really faltered. And I think the easiest way to describe this was they got sandwiched hard.
Definitely. I mean, even from halfway through the map, there's a lot of teams already gathering. And this is what happens when things like the gameplay of each team runs slow. AJ did mention it earlier, it's quite yawning at this point because towards the end, like 10 teams still alive, 3rd, 4th phase of the circle, and it brings everyone together. And not only that, not a team will be able to gather a lot of points compared to what we've seen in Bermuda because it's all spread out. Everyone can take a shot.
Yeah, Alpine is like the great equalizer, right? I mean, all the teams have to play positioning first, right? And it has to be perfect here. But as we see the match rankings, I mean, Netshu Miners, 23 points. They obviously, they got the 11 eliminations to kind of really pad this lead.
Speaking of leads, Netshu Miners, I think this is a really great day for them. Do we think Netshu have a chance of being able to claim that trophy? I think they might be a little bit too far down to be able to take that trophy for themselves. But with that performance, this will shoot them up on that leaderboard to have a better chance at that prize money. But we also have to talk about the top dogs. What happened to our top dogs in this game? Because everybody disappeared.
I have a huge question, especially for teams like Brim United. Though Falcons and well, Evos, who really are doing well, I think they're still keeping themselves afloat. But Brim United is like there's a lot of problems in the gameplay that they're showing right now. Looking at the numbers, they are still, or say, only 1 out of 4 that they place themselves in top 3, and that is rare for this team.
Yeah, and I think that Miners have done what they should have done a little bit earlier in the sense of not care about anyone else. Just worry about themselves, get as many kills as possible, make sure that your positioning is good. And they were good throughout this game, and that's why they ended up kind of capitalizing. They didn't get third party too many times. They got as many kills as possible, and they were picking off people, poor old souls like Caramel.
Yeah, poor. I don't know if it was poor. I think Caramel was having fun there, playing by the monster truck with the glue walls, you know, trying to buy as much time as possible. But for our teams in the middle of the pack, I kind of feel like the fact that this round happened, this slowed down the lead of our current leaders. There is an opening for somebody in the middle to take away and essentially run away with this tournament. But the question is, can they do it in the next 2 games? Because on average, right, when it comes to your winners, you generally get 20-ish points. 25 if you're Falcons, you get 40, but that's Falcons. Are these last 2 rounds going to be enough for these teams to actually make this comeback happen? We have Rawan as our MVP for the round. 5 eliminations, 3,000 damage, and 1,355 healing. I'm not sure if we can see Netshoe Miners up here again. I kind of feel like in this game in particular, they also had a bit of an advantage with the circle. They weren't with everyone. They were a little isolated, meaning they didn't have to fight their way through. Netshoe Miners, I mean, what's their plan going forward?
Well,
Are they late bloomers?
I think for Netshoe Miners, it's just like everything else went along their tactics. Their tactics is like really slow pace. They're very traditional, as Carol did mention. So that's going in slow halfway through. That's where they started to engage, and then everything else that's happened because of the number of teams that we have, like slowly trickled down. Wherein there's only a few more left. Even against Caramel, that's a 2v1 situation. The monster truck is in there, the glue walls, but the glue wall melter didn't help anywhere. It didn't even melt Caramel. You know how Caramel melts easily.
Yeah. and I like the fact that you're mentioning how they're very slow paced. They're a very patient team, and you saw that. Even with Caramel there, yes, they couldn't get through all the glue walls, but they weren't like, trying to overcommit, get themselves out of position. They saw the skirmish on the far end of this. They didn't get out of position for that. They were just trying to pick off who they could, right? So they played it even smart, even to the end. They were just like, let people go. We'll take out Caramel. Eventually, we'll run out of glue walls, and we'll get to him.
I kind of feel like this is just going to be the remaining trend for the entire tournament. Just safe, patient, get the compound, try to defend it as best you can. But I kind of feel like we're reaching that critical mass where you need to start to pick up that pace if you want to get control of this game. Because I think a lot of these teams, they're just letting things happen and they're hoping to react to it and that they would win when it comes to the reactions. We have Hoot here, who might be able to give us some insight as to what happens next here for Nextera. But do we feel like someone's going to have to just step it up and say, guys, we got to take this game into our own hands, otherwise we're just not going to get it?
I mean, there's very much, there's great potential for a lot of teams to take over, probably hop in 2-3 spots, because averaging the points right now, it's like apart from Loud versus Twisted Mind, the rest are just less than 10 in terms of difference. So there's still a great chance, especially a good match, wherein they'll be able to overtake.
What's the cutoff here for you, Hauler? Because I'm looking at these points. We've got 2 rounds to go.
Yep.
Where's the cutoff here for teams that could potentially win the tournament?
I mean, realistically, I would say, let's go from 52 points and up. BRU. I think that this is a team that obviously can do it. Obviously, Netshoe Miners is just right behind. But the thing is that, yeah, you might have a great game and you might pop off, you get 25 points or whatever, but are those top teams getting points as well? If they're able to be shut down like EVOS was, obviously we're seeing headway from the other teams, but it's going to be really close. To see that back-to-back games coming forward, it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult. We're going to actually send off Hoot here to the stage as we get ready for our next matchup. See you later, Hoot. Enjoy yourself up there. We'll actually say hello again a little bit later on. But this next game, Nextera, this is almost do or die for some of these teams. Last predictions. I don't want any comments. I want names.
Brim United still.
Buriram?
I'm going to go with Loud. They need to
Loud.
step up.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. We're going to pass over to our casters right now. It's AJ and Husky. Take it away for game number 5.
Thank you, Danny, and the rest of the panelists, Neptune and Holler. Yes, AJ, 2 more games to go, and we still have no idea who is going to walk away with the trophy, the penultimate round on Nextera. It is just incredible how tight this is. This is what we wanted, but as competitive as it is, I gotta say, the hopes of some teams, they're only in the dump.
Yeah, I would love to see some consistency, but that's just a little bit impossible to hope for on a stage like this when you've got 12 teams, everybody's desperate for points. Even some of the best in the world are struggling down at the bottom. That's crazy.
I mean, BRU, for example, right? They're still in 5th place. There is still a chance for BRU to make that run. We've seen it on that world stage. They've done it not just once, but twice. And we've seen Fluxo do that before, but this is kind of a Cinderella moment for them. Of course, we got Hood back on the stage again. But one of my favorite pets in the game.
He took a while to fly from the analyst desk to the stage, but I wonder if or not he's going to fly into the map as well and assist a couple of these teams to just extend their range a little bit out there on the battlefield.
We'll see what these teams have cooked up for us because we're getting ready to ascend and parachute down into Nextera for our final 2 rounds of the grand finals. This is game number 5. Everything is on the line.
Rush down all the way down to Turbine, once again down the middle of the map. We send our flight path, opening the full map for everybody to play on. Now, if you do get hot drop, this time it's no mistake. This time it's not by force. You are literally planning this. You are aiming for some heads, and I wonder exactly who the predator is gonna be this time round.
It's been a slow day so far, but I reckon the teams will step up the pace. This is do or die. Even on the billboard in-game, team to beat EVOS with 72 points currently in first place. But for EVOS, they cannot rest on their laurels just yet.
Oh, not yet, man. I mean, we saw them kind of try, but then clunk out pretty badly on Alpine. That's not what you want if you're currently leading the fray. They had a wonderful opportunity to really extend that lead, but messed up, unfortunately. But that also gave a little bit of leeway for some of these other teams who are trying to climb up the leaderboard and become champions of the Esports World Cup. Gaming Gladiators are in a little bit of trouble because one of the teams that are strongly fighting to climb up the leaderboard is Fluxo, one of the favorites out of Brazil.
And if they drop to GG right now, the dream might end right then and there. So for Fluxo, they have to somehow make it out of this. You can say the same for Gaming Gladiators. These 2 teams have their dreams laid on the line, and it might just come down to the next minute or 2 in this 4v4 at the Intellect Center, considering that they need to move into the circle.
Fluxo slowly circling around, trying to avoid these engagements first, most probably because of the loot that they've got in hand. Yago does manage to bring Kawan right back into the equation. A little bit of an early scuffle for Loud, but the recovery is as quick.
I was wondering, where did BRU go? I mean, you have Jonah at Museum for sure. BRU keeping it slow, keeping it steady. They're split up between Museum and Turbine, but the scan from Loud, perfect.
Oh, perfect. Now, Loud knows there's just one prey that they can hunt down here at the museum as they try to rotate around. And as Loud scans out Buriram, they get scanned out by Twisted Minds. We may just have a 3-way scuffle here shortly. 2 of those teams from Thailand, 1 from Brazil, and it's not going to look pretty at all. Speaking of a team from Thailand and Brazil, here comes Falcons about to engage with Fluxo.
This is going to be crucial. More crucial for Falcons than it is for Fluxo. Dreams are going to get crushed in just a bit. Falcons trying to find an opening to get to Fluxo, but so far, no luck just yet. And Team Falcons, they are going to take the back seat.
Let's see if or not they can slow things down to put themselves in an advantageous position, because off-screen Gaming Gladiators are staring right at them as well. A sniper most definitely can find that connection for Gaming Gladiators. A 3-way battle. And who is this going to fare towards as Fluxo slowly tries to rotate away from Falcons, not knowing that Gaming Gladiators await them behind these corners?
Bobs, he should know this. Raz turns the corner for a pre-fire, but finds himself in the middle of an unfavorable firefight. Backup does come in though. Kochu is there, plus the grenades also thrown out as well. I wonder if this will attract the Team Falcons to come in for a third party.
Yeah, Tatsuya just saved the skins off the backs of Team Fluxo. Burst away, 18 Deer on the other hand, losing just a little bit of EP and his full health.
And
Chill right behind him, but no recovery whatsoever as Falcons just swoop on in to grab their prey.
What a timing from Team Falcons. They've been waiting for this moment.
One more!
Opportunistic Cosq nade in the hand. More knocked on the side of Fluxo. Puts in, hiding behind that glue wall, but on fire. He is already on track to get a few more.
Yeah, beautiful reposition by Fluxo. All 4 players now together. If they do get ambushed, they most definitely can stand their ground. Now, it's very rare to see such quick adjustments coming through from a squad. Brazil desperately wants this. And now with this reposition, it now poses a big question to Falcons. Do you want to re-engage? Answers no. One more says hasta la vista as he backs away.
It's pretty crazy that the circle does not include Intellect Center, but teams are showing up to the northern side of the map just to find some loot to work with. Even Loud has shown up, and they might run into Fluxo.
Uh-oh. And Fluxo trying to back away from Falcons, dropped straight into the hands of Loud. Now this gives their Brazilian brothers a couple of extra chances to pick up some very much desperately needed points out here. We'll have to catch up with them in a little bit as Razor, the shots from above, they just want to camp up here for a little while, whilst their little brothers Esports Divine, currently leading the leaderboard, are right below them.
Absolutely. 3 members, 4 on that billboard. But this is it, Fluxo against Loud. Only one of them can earn that spot to continue this race. And Fluxo, they somehow need to find this. They're out in the blue. It's still the first circle, of course, but needing to get through Loud is not going to be an easy task.
Come on, Tatsuya burst, but he could not get away. Lost 21 shows up at the wrong time, and the AUG sprays him down as well. Yago plays the survivor, who brings the quad back right in. But Drax, he unfortunately stepped into the wrong position, gets tagged up, not down just yet. Riptide Rhythm takes away the defense off of Yago, and now the boys are in a lot of trouble.
Loud somehow has to find a way out of this. We already saw the revive, but the rest of Loud needs to find a way to retreat from Fluxo. They cannot afford to lose any more members, not when they're in this position.
Saw the players of Fluxo rotating out, but they put up a fantastic fight up against Loud here. Neither squad really suffering a lot of damage, and they disengage with each other, backing away ever so slowly.
Man, look at how deep Fluxo are in the blue. This is going to take a while for them to even make it to the circle, considering the next one is forming very soon. RRQ still huddling up on this billboard at Plazaria.
It's still the first circle. Nothing much to cry about, but Portal Go, laid out by who? That's the biggest question. Don't cry, most probably going to be stepping on in shortly. This was that replay earlier with the engagement between Buriram and Loud, where they saw Kawan step out of position and quickly took the opportunity to pick up the point off of him.
And Fluxo, retreating so deep into the blue, finds themselves meeting against Team Falcons. Very unexpected encounter, and that's on fire, finding Bobs.
Beautiful slay coming through, and unfortunately these teams, Fluxo as well as Loud, kind of in disarray at this point of time because they clashed against each other just moments ago. On that revive, who could barely pick up any loot for himself, got crushed by Team Falcons instead. So the slow pace comeback is still on its way. Fingers crossed they do find their rhythm. We've got 2 more games, 2 more maps, including this one, of course, for them to pick up as many as possible in terms of points. Now, Netshoes slowly moving on in for the mine, and they first mine off of Team Solid. Trap 7 taken down already. Guacha slowly backing away alongside Nyx, and nobody's going in for the chase just yet. I really love this. Now Netshoes splitting off into a 2-2 formation, trying to pincer down Team Solid.
Yeah, and Team Solid, they were able to revive Trap, but that is still their key player. So if you are Netshoes miners, you have a better chance taking out TS, depending on where they want to go. In fact, for Netshoes miners, they are going to disengage completely.
PE Sports off screen, showing Gaming Gladiators how it's done. This is one of those teams that really needs that recovery, and it looks like they're shutting down player after player. Those revives are pretty strong from the side of Gaming Gladiators, though, being brought back as they get taken down. PE Sports now leading the fray with 4 eliminations. 18DS going to be next on the menu with Liam just fresh on that revive, going for those coins. 500 coins in hand, should be able to buy back 1 player at minimum before he gets taken out if he is found.
Another rough spot for Gaming Gladiators. The entire Grand Finals, they have not been able to find a footing, and this could be that last hurrah. Liam will go for the revive right now at the vending machine, but we're 8 minutes in. It is pretty late into the game. They don't have much time left.
Yeah, 600 for a revive. It's going to be a little tough for him for a full squad revival, but he is most definitely going to be free to do so for quite a little bit. No other teams in or around his compound at this point of time. Falcons, as they continue to rotate outside of the zone, still taking advantage of the low damage that this blue zone gives them from that second circle.
This is the slowest we've seen Team Falcons play, but for the betterment, right, is to keep that run for the trophy alive. Homer out, might be able to find that one member from Gaming Gladiators.
to end the hopes of this Indonesian team.
And as we talked about, he managed to buy that insurance, that one revival, so the team stays alive. All thanks to Lee. Coach Hill and Raz back in the matchup already for Gaiman Gladiators, and Falcons with that swoop on outside of the zone, they pick up one extra point for themselves.
Now turning our attention to Evo's Divine. Twisted Minds on the other end. You also see Fluxo on the far eastern side, but more important is for Twisted Minds to really step up the pace. They again went for the swap, right? Potato out and Nameless in. Nothing has worked so far.
Let's see if or not they can make that difference in this matchup. Evo's Divine sharing the compound here with Netshoes Minus. Who gets to mine these points? It's all going to be dependent on who's a tad bit more flexible with those portal goals. And Netshoes on that roof is awaiting one of those players from the side of Evo's Divine to peek their heads out.
What a circle is favoring Netshoes Miners and Evo's Divine. This could not happen better for Evo's in particular, especially if they want to maintain that lead. And Netshoes Miners, they're not going to budge as well. The only one making a ruckus is going to be Trap 7, but Netshoes Miners have found him.
Oh, and they push him out of the house, giving Evo's Divine an opportunity to pick up one extra point. Brock 7 gets the knock. Does it get stolen away? No, it does not. It gets the secure as well. One extra point mined out.
Did revive him, but again, with how small the circle is, there's really not much time even after revive to get yourself back into shape. RRQ still deciding to hold on to the billboard. They're at the edge of the circle at this point, but eventually they gotta start moving.
Falcons going in here for a full team revive.
Wow, look at that scan from BRU. 11 people.
Yeah, they're not going to rotate over there. That's the beauty of R1. Shows you exactly when you should move on into a compound. And Buriram just found out that they should not be moving towards the compound of Evo's Divine that also holds Netshoes as well as Loud. Falcons, on the other hand, finding player after player from Gaiman Gladiators. And they're just farming these boys at this point.
And it's just Gaiman Gladiators shattered in this grand finals. No more chance. And that's a guarantee. Falcons, though, not out of the woods just yet. G'day finding on fire.
And that's such a long shot coming through from G'day on the hop-up. Ray will find a quick nick as well with the M82B, but no knockdowns just yet. G'day continuously pelting all of these players. Suppressive fire, all thanks to the mag size of the gun. And beautiful. This is what you call teamwork. When you can shoulder two of your team members, that's what you call teamwork.
Never skip leg days, people. I believe that's what they say. MT7 and Bunsen does go down. And General and Diamond finds that. G'day again, wanting to be a part of this, even though he doesn't need to. And it's Diamond to hide behind a couple of glue walls to weather the storm. That is Fluxo. Sa Ming ends up going down to Drax. And Twisted Minds, not much left. Diamond as the last bastion.
Yeah, beautiful stuff out of Twisted Minds in the past, but for the grand finals, this has just been a lackluster setup from the squad. Diamond now being pelted by Evo's Divine. The glue wall's down as well. All he can do is stick to the very tight corner of this tent.
And PE Sport comes in for the finisher. And also we saw Fluxo, the fairy tale has just ended. The chapter concluded thanks to Twisted Minds. Falcons still hiding in this small tent with PE Sports right beside them.
So no EWC championship for Fluxo. But for Falcons, it's very much still alive. Evo's Divine, it's very much still alive. AG Global, very much still alive. All three teams still out there on the battlefield, hoping and praying they do not get caught in a crazy gunfight. 9 more teams still out there surviving. This is about to turn into chaos, but PE Sports, solid run thus far. 10 eliminations strong.
About to get really, really ugly. But I think if you are PE Sports, you're looking to take out Team Falcons first before you move deeper into the circle. Stop deal, both chipping in, and RQ's defense on top of the billboard starting to waver a little bit. They decided to come down. Time Turner, glue wall, all used. They need time to revive themselves, but Stop finds to knock onto Dudes again. AG Global stopping RRQ.
Yep, they can manage to get the pickup, but outside the circle, zone number 4, this has got to hurt. Team RRQ not in the best of spots right now, but they try to rotate long way around towards the right. And it's a beautiful link out of Cassie, that electrotherapy bond, giving him that extra HP that he needs. But Duds just could not survive that encounter.
And RQ, they've been quiet so far.
Mao!
Waiting on the other end of the portal to find a freebie onto Mao, and that just makes things worse for RQ.
No, you gotta hate the update on the portal go. Now everybody gets a little bit of an inkling if you're gonna arrive. PE Sports though, can they take out the Predators of this grand finals? Esports Divine holding their ground strong and wiping the floor with PE Sports. Ray does get knocked down, but out of nowhere, Loud arrives. 3 players on the ground, and the Brazilians want to shut this play down. On the opposite side stands Falcons to put an end to Esports Divine, but Peter, LBG drops him, leaving Coscu to sold out this place, and PE Sports once again dropped the ball, but it's no fault of theirs as Falcons just waited, bided their time to strike.
And Lau is the biggest winner of that sequence. Esports Divine, such a good opening, only to be squandered by one nade from all people. Kawan, Tattoo 13, found in the building, and he's most likely going to go down. But for Abax, oh boy, he is trapped.
Abax is just going to try to play for those placement points at this time. Can he get it though? Loud knows that he's awaiting right upstairs, all thanks to that ice grenade that he just jumped on! What a headshot out of the Trogon! Abax, quick shot, buys himself a little bit more time. That backstep now, lost 21, a sliver of health. Abax does not wait to find out what he can do. The amazing maneuvering around the house, and now the boys of Loud are absolutely confused. He sidesteps all of them, gets away, good blue wall, but traps himself in. Abax still wins out that gunfight, finally brought down. A valiant effort from Abax and Evo.
The best possible fight he could put up in that situation. He made Loud work for it. But thankfully for Loud, all members still standing. Coscu desperately trying to find shelter behind the glue wall that is taken down. Moshi with the snipe, and Coscu alongside Team Falcons are out.
Most of your heavy hitters are out of the equation already. AG Global still aiming for the top. They're going to be the next contenders here. Up against Buriram United. Loud slowly ramping up their pacing as well. They're going to be a huge threat for your 2-time world champs. Wasana beaming himself across with the portal go. This is a lot of risk to play. He loses a lot of HP, but in the nick of time gets back into the zone right beside the players of Loud.
Lau are in such a good spot. BRU, they're thinking about which position to take over because the circle does push them in, and Lau, he's just waiting for the rest of the teams to come in with open arms. Wasana to take the charge, but next is behind. Roan shows up with the monster truck, doesn't get any collision.
He bought his license for sure. He tries to knock them down, but knocks into the wall instead. Yago going to be in a lot of trouble now. Wasana just lays out a beautiful glue wall right in front of him and quickly backs away. AG, on the other hand, absolutely snubbed in 4th spot. Buriram still staying alive through all of this craziness, and Yago backing away. Beautiful defensive spot held on by Loud.
The pressure, the glue walls, the defense from Loud, so well done. Raon is still in the game. Wasana gets into the driver's seat and comes out on the other end. He's in the same vehicle as Raon to buy time for the rest of BRU. A power play from the Thai squad, but lost 21. Finds get high. Moshi hanging on by a thread, could not find it. Blues are closing in. Loud trying to find a victory, and they might not have found it. It's Raon again with the clutch. Neshu Miners defy the odds the second time, AJ.
Back-to-back booyah, a solid performance out of Brazil. And Loud surely stepped it out, but this was the team that stole the spotlight away once again. Could have been a little bit better with the driving, but it turned out great for them nonetheless.
Unbelievable play at the end. I cannot believe it that it ended that way. We saw the same power play, right? Get into the passenger seat, you come on the other end, you buy some time. Baron won single-handedly. Lone survivor wins it for Netshoes Miners, and now the competition is wide open.
The meta has been tweaked, changed, updated so many times, and who would have thought that the current meta would demand for your monster truck to show up time and time again in the final circle. It's the meta right now.
Absolutely. We saw the interview between Gade and Yun Sul on the stage. You know, he said that the coach told him, hey, just relax a little bit, don't put too much pressure. Oh, but pressure is on. You see the emotions on the face, it is not the same as it was 3 rounds ago.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And of course, Loud slowly climbing up the leaderboard as well. That solid performance have now gotten them, I'm pretty sure, close to the top 5 spot. But the biggest question is it going to be enough? One more game. They don't need a good round. They need a massive round. They need an explosive round. They need a 40-pointer booyah if they want to end up in a solid spot for themselves, maybe even as champions.
back to the drawing board for Loud. Maybe this is not going to be it, but who knows, right? We've seen miracles happen. We've seen BRU pull it out. Falcons gave us a 40-point record at the start of the day. But the fact that it really, really comes down to just one final round is astounding.
And of course, 40 points. And also taking into calculation for teams like EVOS, Falcon, AG not performing. And out of nowhere, you now have Netshoes Miners not slowly but surely confidently climbing up the leaderboard. Back-to-back Booyah's massive number of eliminations, 40 for the day. The third highest in comparison to Falcon and EVOS, who are just slightly ahead of them.
Netshoes Miners, they're about to make history. Not history for Brazil. Brazil has won before, but the team itself,
absolutely,
out of nowhere.
And that's exactly what we promised you at the Esports World Cup. Surprise after surprise after surprise. And you cannot guess who's going to walk away with the championship at the end of the day. But there's one thing that is for sure here. Falcons are eyeing for it. We're talking about the club championships, baby. We're talking about an extra 1,000 points that they desperately want for themselves.
Yeah, hope is still alive. We come down to the final lap, and oh boy, maybe this final round, a Booyah could decide the winner on the spot. Teams, they have to start gunning for it.
And 5 teams are fighting for that, but we'll throw it back to the analysts.
The arena where here we continue on. Netshoes Miners, Brazil. They take 2 wins and 2 Booyahs in a row. And we're joined now by Raune to ask a few questions. First of all, you are so close to that trophy. How are you handling those emotions right now?
Vocês estão tão perto desse troféu. Como vocês estão lidando com isso agora?
Nós começou mal e nós ficou assim. Ou nós fazemos alguma coisa agora, ou nós, é menos um título para nós. E é um título mundial, né? E eu bati cabeça, tô amassando e estamos aí.
We did not start well and we thought we have to do something about it, and we are doing that and we're here.
So far we've had a win from Southeast Asia, one for Brazil, one for Southeast Asia, and then again for you with Brazil, but you break it and you make 2 wins in a row. What's there to happen? What's there to change to make it 3 wins in a row and a win for you in Brazil?
Até agora a gente teve uma vitória do Sudeste Asiático, uma vitória do Brasil, do Sudeste Asiático, uma vitória do Brasil. O que vai fazer agora para conseguir ter 3 vitórias seguidas do Brasil?
Eu acho que vai ser um jogo padrão, depende de quem der buia, o importante é pontuar. Se nós der buia ou não, mas nós vai dar buia nessa aqui, vai ser 3 buia, e é isso.
I think the important is to make points, and we don't know if we're going to do Booyah this time or not, but we will.
Well, there you go. 2 Booyahs in a row in the grand final. An impressive feat for Netshoes Miners and Raune. Thank you very much. Parabéns, muito obrigado. We'll see what happens in game number 6, so do not go anywhere. It's the final shot for the trophy and the $1 million on the line, so we're all here waiting for it to happen. Though, for our viewers in Arabic,
that's right, it's the final showdown. Game number 6. And Netshoes Miners, this team came out of nowhere. And now with 2 back-to-back Booyahs are in the running to potentially take home the trophy here for the Free Fire Esports World Cup. But we're all probably wondering, what do the overall rankings look like? Let's have a look right now and see where all of our competitors are and how many points do they need to take that trophy home. And look how close the competition is. All it takes is 1 good round, gentlemen.
That is 8 points that they need so that they'll be able to go in for that number 1 spot. But one thing I want to point out is Netshoes Miners. They started from 9 points, or a 9 spot, and then after the Booyah, they moved to 6. Now they're number 4, and they're tied against Freedom United Esports.
But I got to point out as well that AG Global, they have been keeping up with the pace. No Booyahs, no problem for them. They have been around that range of being able to get that top spot. So if they get the final round, the best round that they could have gotten in this tournament, who knows, they could come as a surprise team.
It's do or die. This is where your eliminations come in. This is where you need to put the game in your own hands. But it just seems like the trend is everyone is waiting for those final circles. They are so scared to make that move because we've also seen some of these teams, they try to make the moves and then they get punished for it. So coming into this final map, gentlemen, we still don't know what this final map is going to be.
Definitely, I mean, it would change the pace of the game. And pretty much it would be any of the maps that we've seen so far, because there's only 5 maps really to choose from the randomizer. But one thing's for sure, if they took notes or really studied their opponents, if they failed or probably succeeded in what they had to do, all they had to do is just hit that replay and try to get a few more points, especially for those very, very close to that #1 spot.
Yeah, but one strategy I noticed about some of the top teams here, Falcons, Buriram, and also AG, they play really, really safe. They try to play as close to the circle as possible, and I can understand why, because they are kind of hoping for the closest competitions to fall off earlier before them, and then they would be able to keep that gap or even gain more points to try to overtake the competition. So it's all about playing safe right now. Looking at how this has been running in the previous round, that could probably be the case in the final map.
But I think the answer here is for them to stop playing safe.
I think it has to end here.
Yeah.
It's the last game. And if you go down and you're not the one taking initiative, you're not putting your fate in your hands. You're putting it into someone else's hands. Now, speaking of putting their fate into their hands, Netshoes Miners' very own Rowan 7, 5 eliminations for that previous round, 1,782 damage and 797 healing. This last map, this is going to decide who will be our champion. This will decide who is going to have a fun time and also a not so fun time for game #6. And obviously, I think all the teams are hoping it's going to be a simple map, Bermuda. That is the home, the heart of Free Fire. But if it ends up being a map like Kalahari, we could be in for a lot of trouble for some of these teams. The map for today is none other than Kalahari! Oh no!
You know,
You just had to say it.
It's over.
This is the team breaker map, and not only that, this is the tournament breaker map because last day, final chance for everyone to take that #1 spot.
Well, so you mentioned a couple of interesting things as well, right? RRQ does well on this map.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
Evo's
no,
got it, right?
it's Indonesia
Yeah,
does well on this
Right.
map.
So if we were to take that into consideration, right? Could this be Evos? Again, taking it back home and take home the championship.
It does look like it. It does look like it.
Stats don't lie, right?
Yeah, I mean, but we know for a fact that everyone's on the #1 spot is always being targeted, or for those really very close. And they've seen the gameplay, they saw the review, or they saw the replay of what happened earlier. RRQ might be targeted in that refinery drop. So that is very tough for them. For Evos, then there's a huge chance that they can like hide out a little bit and then take it slow and then later on bring the gunfight.
I don't think these teams are going to let any of the Indonesians play slow. They've seen what's happened before. This is a map that they're prepared for. But Indonesia, Kalahari, these two things, they mesh very well, but maybe it's not going to be an Indonesian champion. It's time to find out, folks. It's map #6 here at the Free Fire Esports World Cup. It is Kalahari. Throwing it over to our wonderful casters, Husky and AJ. Take it away for map #6.
Thank you very much, Danny and the panelists. AJ, one last map, history about to be penned. And what better way to do it, to decide who wins the championship on the most hated map?
Well, it just reminds us of Riyadh. It is hot, it is sunny, but what is going to be most definitely important here on Kalahari is, can they stop the Indonesians from rampaging? Can they stop teams like Evos Divine and RRQ picking up those points? Because if you want to stop Evos, you got to know exactly where they drop in Kalahari, and I'm pretty sure these teams have done their homework. But who's brave enough to go for such a thing?
I'm waiting for that to happen as well, because it's do or die, right? You got nothing to lose at this point. We're heading into Kalahari for the final map of this grand finals. A trophy will be lifted at the end of this. It's do or die for everyone.
Double booyah for Netshoes minus GG. The question is, can they make it a triple and sweep the competition, grab that trophy from out of nowhere? The sub is where they choose, but Gaming Gladiators right behind them. will stop first, and Netshoes will overshoot that towards Mammoth. So a potential engagement between these two teams later on.
This is going to be quite scary because for EVOS, they are going to be under a lot of that attention, under a microscope essentially, right? Scanning out foundation just to make sure that no one is there. AG, they make a detour.
This is not looking good for EVOS Divine right now. Two of their players are out of position. Gade could just be caught out by Kawan in a very early engagement here. But if Big Boss Gade, if the captain of the squad can stay alive, perhaps Kawan will put the team in a little bit of extra trouble here because clearly Loud is looking for those extra points, and this is going to hurt their momentum.
Yeah, we talked about being in first place and so close to the championship makes you a target, right? And AG, that drop was intentional. Kawan does get taken down, but he falls to Budson. Not the start you want as EVOS.
Yeah, not the start that you would want at all. And if they get crippled here, getting to that final circle is just so much more difficult. Yago follows up, and Gade goes down. He will go ahead to secure that point for the squad. The revival has come through, though. Two of those players back in for the side of EVOS, so the recovery is there. But the early loot for EVOS Divine, the ones currently leading the whole competition at the very top of the leaderboard, it does not look sweet for them.
Yeah, and it comes down to how you handle that pressure. Because realistically, it's just the race between the top 5 teams. You know, EVOS, Falcons, AG Global, Netshoe Miners, and Buriram United. Fluxo, right now, our leaders in terms of eliminations, and they're still on a rampage. They have nothing to lose, and Team Solid next on the list.
Absolutely, and Team Solid, not so solid in the grand finals. In a terrible position, if you ask me, because the better defensive side is on the side of Fluxo, and Fluxo's not really taking a step to get into those engagements just yet. P90 in the hands of Bobs, and MT7 support from afar with the M82B, beautiful, and Bobs unfortunately gets sprayed down with a level 1 gun. And Team Solid, a perfect recovery. His team member is going to be picked right back up, and MT7 could do nothing about it.
Fast revive, Trap 7. Kind of the superstar of Team Solid, finding MT7, just separated by a glue wall. The wrap around, Trap 7 ends up dropping down to the ground floor. Backup shows up, MT7 under pressure, gets taken out.
Yeah, you gotta hate Kalahari for those grappling hooks, man. The grappling gun allows you to quickly reposition, and he just was not expecting that at all. Got swept out of his high throne. Next 7, on the other hand, slowly driving around, trying his very best to survive for the time being for the rest of his squad. Off screen, Wang An finds Abex, and EVOS Divine once again. No matter where they go, no matter where they rotate, they keep being found.
Yeah, the final lap is the hardest to complete, and EVOS Divine really feeling the heat. Gade finding some space to get some resources as the member of RQ just flies right by him. So at least he knows he has some room to breathe for now. But the most important thing is to get the rest of his team back on the same page and ready to go.
At this point, every single player from EVOS Divine has been revived already. And RRQ's Duds gets revived, drops into the exact same compound as the players from the side of EVOS Divine. That does not look good for RRQ. And their recovery gameplay might just be hurt. Butson down as the team of Loud continuously brings back their players one after the other. That kind of fixes the final puzzle piece for Loud. Full squad yet again.
Even for Team Falcons, they are ever so close to that first place. Just slightly behind EVOS Divine. Ray gets shot down again. No chance of backup coming in. The cavalry just could not arrive. RRQ does making life hard for their compatriots.
Yeah, and he's got a better gun. Tags him up with the A124. No Joseph on Gade, so this is very troublesome. Gade with the slightly lowered rate of fire as well. Duds with a grenade that just does not reach Gade. Good hop with the glue wall. Backs away, 78 HP. But he will still stay alive. And of course, Apex get brought right back. EVOS Divine continuously reviving one player after the other. The torture just does not stop.
Just a horrible start for EVOS Divine. Gade forced out of command post, had to take a vehicle around. But here at Refinery is also going to be quite a mess in just a little bit. Gaimin Gladiators taking control of the entire area. But if that circle closes in a bit more, we might see a very chaotic fight.
Solid start for Gaimin Gladiators. 8 eliminations thus far. We did mention the Indonesians love this map, and they're proving that. Kawan down on the ground. And AG Global slowly circling around. Lost 21 has managed to get away for the time being already. Does he get found? That's the biggest question. PE Sports on the opposite side as well. Lost is in a lot of trouble. And if AG Global does win this fight out as well, PE Sports has got those open shots straight up against them. Lost gets taken down. The loots are there for Cypher, but quick defensive glue walls pulled up as PE Sports takes those shots.
Not looking good for Loud at all. And even though PE Sports have no chance of hoisting the trophy at the end of this, they can still play spoilers. They can still disrupt the flow of the game. And they do have Team Solid right opposite of them. LBT, he has a lot of info to work with, tries to take the shot. Nero with a good follow-up. The rush on top of the roof to find Tatu 13. Don't Cry joins in. Everyone through the portal. It is the Matrix for these two.
Guaza is just arriving right on time. LBT's there with the Trogon though. Needs to make a difference. Goes for the pickup first. Don't Cry still crawling around right behind him. And Team Solid with a quick hit and run. The players are backing away. Nick 7 does get tagged up, but Don't Cry trying to get the job done all on his own.
And the hook gun to reposition. LBT from behind. Catch squawk shot. Good swing with the pre-fire. And PE Sports continues the rampage. And Team Solid are no more. Vaporized.
Oh, what a beautiful performance out of the Vietnamese squad to withstand the assault from Team Solid. Not only that, to turn things around, wipe them off of the battlefield. And now 8 points equaling up with Gaming Gladiators. Mammoth on the other hand, the rotation for Buriram United. 3 eliminations in hand, and you can see they are pretty loaded in terms of coins.
Yeah, 3 and counting. We've seen Buriram pull it out at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
On the international stage, on the world stage nonetheless. So this is no exception. 3 points to start it off is very, very good. Fluxo getting the revive, same as RRQ. Falcons, on the other hand, also taking it slow. Contrary to what I expected, a lot of teams are deciding to just play it at a very, very moderate pace.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, if anything, the past 4 days have taught them is if you second guess any of those teams, if you try to think that you're the greatest out there, you are going to be humbled instantaneously. And PE Sports, they do not shy away from shining on the final day. 9 eliminations strong in this final game.
And one more finding stop as well, right in front of his portal. See the rest of AG will have to kind of back off for now. Team Falcons on a slower rotation. LBT under pressure from Peter. Doesn't have the health to work with, but backup is around the corner. This could be a clash between these two.
Oh my goodness, we do not know who hit him, but that was an unfortunate shot there. Peter just swooped on in, takes one away for Falcons. Nero can provide that support. Don't Cry. They try to play the defense first. Peter, very, very brave on these engagements because he knows support is coming through from afar.
Yeah, if Peter wins this 1v2, it's going to give such a big momentum boost. But Don't Cry will not let that happen. Support player from afar. It's going to be on fire. Peter receives help from Koskyu, who wants to bring him back up. But again, PE Sports providing pressure. One more, and Nero both find one. Koskyu on the ground. One more needs a couple more crucial shots. And he will find Nero in the process. It's Falcons to survive.
LBT picks Nero right back up, and the revives are there for Falcons. Quick recovery coming through, and it could not have happened if One More was not in that flanking position. Beautiful backup provided by One More to keep Falcons alive, not just to be the winners of EWC Free Fire, but also to pick up those 1,000 points from the championship, and One More gets one more.
Unbelievable
And
for One More. Uncontested, untouched, just perched on his sniper's nest and landing shots. 5 elimination for this man, stepping it up on the final round.
One after the other. Nobody even thought of swinging around and stopping One More. They could not have enough chances. And look at the full team revival, the full recovery from Team Falcons. Absolutely crazy.
Springing to life when they need it the most, when it matters the most, when push comes to shove. Falcons just shine their fangs again. Don't Cry found now. Peter nails the 8th for Team Falcons.
My goodness, what a turnaround. One More. If they win this, he's undoubtedly the MVP. Crazy plays on fire now. Finds a player from the side of AG Global. Caramel in hand, one of the best CQB players, but in a 3v1, nothing he can do. 9 points picked up by Team Falcons. Another step closer to lifting the trophy.
The FFWS Southeast Asia 2024 Spring Champions, first seed coming out of Southeast Asia. Who would have thought that this is the round that they show us who they are? They remind the world that they are here for a reason. and Team Falcon supporters in the arena just waiting with bated breath. You can hear the cheers. They're getting louder, AJ.
Truly, it is not how you start, it is how you end. And Falcons showing everyone exactly what they're made of. It all started here. Coscu and Peter down on the ground, but that long-range support from one more. He just had one glue wall on his left, and he held his own. 5 eliminations back-to-back. Insane stuff. And now Twisted Minds taking pot shots from down below up against Loud, who are high above on that sub.
And Loud needs to somehow get through this, the toughest obstacle they've faced yet. 10.5 minutes in, it's a late game stage, AJ. 11 teams still remain in this game. It might come down to a coin flip like we said previously. Diamond finding the first knock onto Kawan.
Buriram looking for the circle, whereas Twisted Minds still trying to find points for themselves. The portal goal will help him up, but it is a fantastic snipe from Saming. Back-to-back, 2 players get taken down. Nameless just trying to recover a little bit for the squad as Saming gets knocked down onto the ground. But Yago trying to make a lot of noise on the opposite side. Exposy denying him that opportunity, and Loud out in 11.
The Brazilian squad silenced in this round. First is Solid that was vaporized, and then Loud right now not being able to make a single sound. The round ends here. The run concluded with a nightmarish ending. 10 more teams remain. RRQ finds a revive onto Dudes. And with Team Falcon so ahead, it spells disaster for BRU.
Oh, yeah.
Because BRU needs a whole lot more to catch up.
Let's see if they can, man. We've seen BRU pull off miracles when it was impossible, but Falcons just making that look absolutely impossible. How do you snuff out the fire in these players? How do you snuff out the fire in one more? I want to see a 1v1 battle, that sniper showdown between Moshi and one more to perhaps call it a day.
I mean, you can't count Evo's Divine out just yet. They're still in the game, but it's PE Esports that's leading the pack. 12th elimination so far with Huang Ang and Nero stepping out big time. Team Falcons right behind them at the maze.
13 points needed for PE Esports to catch up with Gaming Gladiators. Of course, Gaming Gladiators still alive and kicking to pick up more points to make the journey a tad bit more difficult. Netshoes Miners still in the game, hurting the players of AG one after the other. View the final player, but he's got no driving skills. Back away and gets blown up. Bye-bye AG Global, says Nando.
Unbelievable. The top 5 teams that are racing for the trophy are still in the game, AG. Well, AG just got destroyed, but 4 more remain, right? EVOS, BRU, and Falcons. As close as it gets.
The battle of Indonesia now. EVOS Divine. Glue wall melters up the watchtower first. A double glue wall melter for good measure. Does it get followed up with a couple of frag grenades? We'll have to wait and see. Ice grenades response from Gaming Gladiators. EVOS Divine can't do anything about that except patch themselves right back up. Will get tagged up by the A124 as well, which slows down their attack. And EVOS Divine just needs to bide their time for the next 30 seconds.
I need to reposition though. This container is not the best spot to be in. As Nando 9 already found Raz, that's another number added to the list, added to the tally of Netshoe Miners. Team Falcons, they're moving into PE Sports territory. This could make or break it.
EVOS Divine is inside this next zone here, so they don't really need to do anything, so they can continuously barricade themselves inside of that container. Off-screen Saming, they spot out the Flying Diamond as well. One more shot needed, round 1 has the aim! The Nando 9 with a perfect follow-up.
Oh my!
Netshoe Miners absolutely crushing the players of Twisted Minds. 9 eliminations strong right now.
Twisted Minds, nothing is working for them right now. They are absolutely collapsing. Raul still finds another more to add under the belt. He's not done just yet. The snipe shooting down. That is just absolutely lethal.
6 plays from Netshoe Miners Gaming. This is the way you can go if you want to lift the trophy. Perhaps a back-to-back-to-back booyah for them. Falcons still in the race as RRQ gets kicked out. PE Sports the next one on the menu. Let's see if or not the Predators can sweep them out.
7 teams left, but 4 of them have a chance to lift the trophy as close as it gets. Fluxo in the way of the path of destruction led by BRU, but Fluxo on the high ground. They have to deal with PE Sports first.
Nobody thought Netshoe Miners would be able to get this close to lifting the trophy, but here they are, 12 eliminations. They've got one of the best positions out there on the battlefield. But the circle slowly closing in. They are in a very sticky situation, and they have to take on the players of Gaiman Gladiators, who do have a good defensive spot. But if the circle catches up with them as well, that's going to be trouble. And as I say that, Portal go for Netshoes straight into the next phase. So what a play!
And Evo's Divine, they see all of this happening. Maybe they can take advantage of this situation and stop the dreams of Netshoes Miners. Riptide Rhythm out as well. Netshoes Miners taking a lot of damage from afar, but no confirmed knocks just yet. Evo's Divine, they take their own portal just to avoid the Riptide Rhythm. Apex somehow finds a shot onto Koju in the process as NMG now forced to fight.
Yeah, PE Esports still alive and kicking as Fluxo gets taken out in 7th. Netshoes Miners, everybody's aiming for them, but they still stand strong. Now picking away at Gaming Gladiators. 18 Deer, the Wonder Child out. Nando 9 down on the ground. No Riptide Rhythm picking them out just yet, so therefore they can't pick him right back up. But the shots are aimed at them. The first ones into the circle are being tormented. Falcons off screen. Now they quickly overtake, shutting down PE.
This is so close, AJ. Top 4 teams have a chance at the champion. They can touch the trophy. They can touch the sky. Nando 9 goes down. NMG, is this where the fairy tale ends? Falcons with 14. Jonah getting shot by on fire. Falcons tearing up the storm. NMG out. BRU out. It's between Falcons and Evo Divine. But Falcons are just way too strong. The winds guiding them to victory. Apex finds one more.
There's no way Falcons drop the ball right now. Execution, get out of my lobby, baby. We're going up to the top. Buriram out in 3rd, and it's now all up to Apex. Evo's Divine 1v4. You cannot do it. Team Falcons destroy the competition.
The golden road for Team Falcons remains alive and kicking. History rewritten. Euphoric moment. Started strong, 40 points, setting a record on the Esports World Cup stage and ending it strong with the Booyah. Exactly what they needed, exactly what the fans asked for. What a final circle. Oh man, any Booyah could have been a championship moment.
We have seen this team grow over the years, continuously underestimated, continuously counted out. And even at the FFWSC spring, nobody would have thought that they could get this. When Team Falcons stepped into sponsor CGGG, their performance took a severe dip. But then came the final week, then came the play-ins for the Point Rush as well as the Grand Finals. They came up as champions, and they may have done it once again. I don't know if you can math, but my math tells me nothing can touch them now.
Absolutely. Heartbreak for EVOS. Came all so close.
Oh yeah.
This was the closest Indonesia has ever gotten to a Covenant title, and they fell short. Nonetheless, in the wake of a Thai team, but at least this time, it's not BRU. It's a new representative, Team Falcons, really soaring beyond the clouds and into the stratosphere. Can only imagine the relief they feel. So much pressure. I heard that after Point Rush yesterday,
yeah,
they got a harsh pep talk from the coach.
Oh yeah.
Coach was like, what the hell are you guys doing? And look at this.
But that's classic Team Falcons. That's classic Team Falcons to show that we are not a great threat, but to show up on the final day. Those tears, we understand those tears. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's it from Husky and I. We'll throw you back to our analysts. Let them break down the matchup for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has taken us days to get here to our grand final, our trophy, and our $1 million prize pool. The numbers have been tallied. We have our winners. So please, give it up for Team Falcons!
Team Falcons, the champion of AWC Free Fire 2024!
A massive congratulations to the team. Dark horses for a lot of people, but here in Riyadh, they are beloved like no other. Gentlemen, Team Falcons, you may come down to the stage and join us. Bring your keys with you. Come on over. Of course, here at EWC, for every winner, our Keymaster is joining us on stage. Please, come on over to the Keymaster. The shards will be taken out of the key. One piece will stand at the totem in the center of our arena, where all of the EWC victors will be laid to rest. Of course, one piece, the shard itself, will sit here in the trophy. The center has been revealed and taken. Please insert the key into the trophy. Please, gentlemen, stand on the side of the trophy and weigh it up, because one more time, your Free Fire victors at EWC, Team Falcons!
Please welcome our champion of EWC Free Fire 2024, Team Falcons. So, how do you feel right now, champions?
รู้สึกไงบ้างครับตอนนี้ครับเป็นแชมป์แล้วครับก็ไม่ฝันแล้วว่าจะได้เป็นแชมป์ดีใจมากครับที่ทำให้โกได้ก็รู้สึกหายเหนื่อยครับแล้วรู้สึกว่ามันเป็นจริงแล้วครับวันนี้ที่ผมบอกว่าผมจะเป็นที่หนึ่งของโลกผมไม่ได้พูดเล่นนะครับ
Okay, basically they are happy now. It's like a dream come true. And for Peter, he said when he said he want to be the #1 of the world, it's not joking.
You guys really deserve this, the #1 of the world. EWC Free Fire, it's really insane. As an underdog team during Free Fire World Series 2024 Spring, you guys are the championship, and you are here as Team Falcons, being the champion of the biggest event of esports. So, any kind words you want to send to your dearest coach?
มีอะไรอยากจะกล่าวถึงโค้ชของตัวเองไหมครับแล้วก็แฟนๆด้วยก็ได้ครับในตอนนี้ครับก็ขอบคุณที่ฝึกสอนผมมาผมทำให้ได้แล้วขอบคุณที่ทำให้พวกผมมีวันนี้ครับก็พี่เน่งเป็นคนที่เก่งมากๆครับอย่าโทษตัวเองครับที่ผมบอกว่าผมจะพาพี่ไปเป็นที่หนึ่งของโลกอ่ะวันนี้ผมทำได้แล้วพี่ He talked to his coach that he used to say that we will bring you to #1 of the world. Now we can do it.
Yes, congratulations, and to all of the amazing fans all here. Do you have any words to say to all the people that are loving you and supporting you all the time from Team Falcons family?
มีอะไรฝากถึงแฟนๆไหมครับพูดได้เลยครับตอนนี้ฮะก็ขอบคุณทุกคนที่มาเชียร์ครับขอบคุณมากๆครับที่เชียร์พวกผมมาโดยตลอดก็มีถ้วยที่เอเชียแล้วก็ถ้วยนี้แล้วแต่ว่ามันยังไม่จบแค่นี้แน่นอนครับก็ขอบคุณแฟนคลับชาวซาอุดิอาระเบียด้วยครับที่มาเชียร์พวกเราในวันนี้มาให้กำลังใจพวกเราตั้งแต่เกมแรกจนจบพวกเรามอบถ้วยรางวัลนี้ให้พวกคุณเลยครับ Thank you for all the fans around the world and especially a Saudis fan for cheering us since the first match. This tournament is belong to you guys.
Very sweet. As a person who has followed them since they really little journey from Free Fire World Series C 2024 Spring and until now. I'm really proud of that and happy as well. So, once again, you are the champion of EWC Free Fire 2024, Team Falcons!
And when it seemed like the odds were stacked against them, Team Falcons, they spread their wings and they flew. They seized the opportunity, and this was what we were asking the teams to do in this final game. Don't leave your fate in the hands of your opponents. And the Falcons, what did they do? They blew the game wide open with that final circle. And that ending, guys, I can't believe what we saw. Oh my goodness, Neptune! I don't think I've seen such an explosive ending in my entire life.
Yeah, I mean, definitely there's so much excitement, there's so much pressure in how this game is going to end, this day is going to end exactly. And it's a good thing that you did point it out. Like, try and do your best to get as much point as possible. That's what we've been asking for from match 1 of match 2, because they did grab 40 points from map number 1. So after that, everything slowed down, and then they brought it back towards the last.
Yeah, speaking about bringing it back, they start to read that all the other teams are starting to slow it down. So they find opportunity to gain elimination points for themselves, because they know if they don't, it's hard for them to catch up to the #1 spot, and they finally did.
Champions are there. I mean, the mentality was going into this one where they knew they had to make some plays. They stepped in, they dug deep, and they actually got all the eliminations that needed to have done to take them over the top. Well-deserved, Team Falcons.
Let's have a look at the overall standings as well, so you guys know where all of our competitors today ended the day with points. And as you can see at the very top, our champions, Team Falcons, with 106 points. In second place, EVOS Esports, even though they came second in that final round, 99 points. They just didn't have enough in eliminations.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more that could have happened for EVOS Esports right here, but from what we've seen and what we talk about, Indonesians will be targeted in that map, and that they did. Thus, even RRQ tried to get away from the usual drop spot, and EVOS Esports has been gunned down from beginning up until midway through until they were eliminated. But again, Falcons just took advantage of everything. Even the drop spot, the position that they have, played it a little bit safer from the start, and then slowly picking up the pace.
Yeah, and if we were to look at the numbers, right, we did talk about what would be the number to be the champion? It's more than 100 points, and they did exactly just that. But we're also going to look at who is our MVP for this tournament.
Yes, our tournament MVP. Let's see who's going to be getting this award. It's none other than Moshi, with an average elimination score of 2.36. This man did 38,000, almost 39,000 damage over the course of the entire tournament. And for anyone that doesn't know, our tournament MVP, dear Moshi, is going to be taking home a $50,000 prize for himself for securing that MVP. So congratulations to Moshi. Sure, they might not be champion, but Moshi worked hard.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with the snipes, he usually is the guy who initiate a gunfight from a distance, probably get information, give information. Thus, Barium United is really popping off. But it's just unfortunate that even with a tough player like Moshi right here, they didn't show up that much. Looking at the numbers, not so much of, say, only once out of the 6 map that they were on top 3.
Yeah, I would say that overall, you gotta think about it, Buriram, they are a MVP team. I mean, you have Wasana being the MVP of FWSC, and now you got Moshi. But at the end of the day, it is a team game. So, yeah, great. You have individual players who really show up, but the rest of the team needs to pull up with the pace.
Definitely. And I think in this case, it's like you saw Team Falcons and how the coach was kind of like sparking a fire in them, motivating them to play better after somewhat of a not so great day yesterday. And I think on the opposite spectrum, if we're looking at BRU, maybe came in a little bit overconfident, thinking that, hey, we'll just rest on my laurels. I'll be able to take out all the kills. I'll do very well on my own. I don't really need to kind of, you know, to dig deep, so to speak.
It kind of makes you wonder, you know, what was the thought process for these teams coming into the tournament? But I do want to sort of shift our focus over to our player bounty. Our player bounty for the tournament is going to be awarded to none other than Peter. Peter, this man, I feel he didn't carry Team Falcons. I think Team Falcons overall, very balanced team. They can rely on one another. But I think if there was one player on the team that really stood out, it really felt like Peter. Every time the team needed him most, he was able to put in 150% in and carry things through for the squad.
Yeah, this is one good turnaround for Peter, because I remember one time or one point in the qualifiers or in FFWS C, where in Peter's mostly the guy who always being taken down. I mean, the revives, he's getting that, not quite sure if it's an award, but the most revive in the game. But now, getting this award for the biggest esports event for Free Fire, oh wow.
Yeah, I guess that's a U-turn for him individually as a player, as an athlete as well. He probably studied back, or he probably worked with his coach. Got to give credit to the management team as well for helping him out to improve on some of the things that maybe he was lacking at that time. And now he has come back not only with the championship, but also as the top eliminator.
Yeah, and I mean, going in from, I believe, day 2 is when we first saw him, and then till now, we've seen the growth of him. Like, we've seen him play much, much better. You can see that he's, like, really starting to get in sync with the rest of the team. He's just, like, peaking at the right time.
I mean, you peaked in the grand finals. I think it doesn't get better than that, Hauler. So, what is next for our teams? Well, this tournament might be over, but of course, the World Series is the next thing for these teams. Who will be the champion for 2024? We are going to be finding out later this year, but I think for our competitors that did participate in the tournament here, this was a very big learning curve for them. They learned a lot that's going to help move forward, especially in a LAN environment, right? Playing online is a much completely different animal compared to playing at home, on the couch, in bed, over comms with your friends. There are external factors. Being able to prepare yourself mentally. I think if there was any advice that you would give to these teams, to all of our competitors today, what kind of advice would you give to them to help propel them in their Free Fire career?
One thing's for sure, like, preparation is key in pretty much everything. So, like, for some, they always practice how they are set up in a LAN environment, regardless if they are at home. So a boot camp will help, and as well as with the crowd. If they can play in front of any of their fans, why not? At least they can slowly get back on that, and there's no more rattle once you get onto stage.
Everyone has great mechanics, everyone has great shooting skills, but then again, what would differentiate these teams from each other would be mentality. So having a strong, good mentality, able to overcome dips in performances to make that comeback up, just like what we saw with our champions Falcons. That is something that every team needs to work on.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also the teams really need to kind of play their play style. I think there are times where they were kind of shaken up. They weren't really sure what the other teams were going to bring. But it's like, hey, this is what got you here. Play to your strengths, so to speak.
Play to your strengths. And I think if I had some advice for these teams, find a coach that fits you. What do you need as a team to improve on? Because I think Falcons, they're a great example of a team that they are mechanically gifted, but to have the support of a coach that provides you an alternative perspective and is able to help build upon things that maybe you feel you're not confident enough to build upon yourself, it really brings the team together. And I think it's going to be an exciting time for us seeing Falcons, you know? They've won here. How much higher is this team going to fly?
I mean, another point, though, is also get a good support. Because if
a support network.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember how, like, before they were Team Falcons, they haven't taken this #1 spot. But the moment that Team Falcons really, like, supported them in the back end, a lot of fans also supporting them, that's when they really flew high, like the Falcons.
Yeah, the homegrown buff is real, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. And just like what, down the road is the Falcon's Nest. That is where all the energy is there. I mean, even as a competitor, right? So when you walk past by there, you see this building, these monuments and all that, you would feel like,
intimidated.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Actually,
feel that kind
I
of
think
energy,
that's a
right?
nerf, isn't it? Like, you'd be feeling more stressed. You'll be like, oh, my office is like right there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's one of those things where this buff that you're talking about only worked in Game 1 and Game 6, but it still paid off in the end as they came out the champion.
But as they say in my village,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how they start, it matters how they end.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, it seems that's going to be a closing here for the Free Fire Esports World Cup 2024. We have crowned a champion, and our teams, they might be done here. They're not quite done in the world of the Free Fire esports scene. My name is Tim Danley. I've been your host for this week, and I've been joined by these three wonderful gentlemen, Neptune, SoCloud, and Hauler. We bid you all adieu, and we'll see you all next time, survivors.
You ever wondered how a Hollywood movie is shot? On a Sony. You review it on a Sony. And how do you make that sound epic? You record it on a Sony. Lunch break on a Sony. So why wouldn't you watch it on a Bravia by Sony?